Thanks a lot, Andy. Brilliant coverage as always from Andy and the team at BBC Radio Scotland. And Scotland are up and running. They needed that. They've got it. 31-19 against Italy. And now from a Scottish point of view, all roads lead to Ireland next weekend. But for Ireland, they have got the small matter of England in town on a beautifully mild, actually, Dublin early evening. It's a bit grey overhead, but it's dry, turning chilly, but pretty much excellent conditions for rugby as the two teams go through their warm-ups. And we bring in our top team, Grand Slam winners, both of them, Matt Dawson and Tommy Bowe. Tommy, we're on your patch. It's kind of game that gets the blood pumping, isn't it?
It is, Chris. There's huge excitement in Dublin, as always, when Six Nations comes around. But what's unusual for Dublin when the start of Six Nations comes around is the weather is really nice out there. It's a dry ball, very little wind, and two teams that are primed for a top quality test match. I think that both teams, England coming into this game, maybe you're trying to play it down a little bit. Ireland, a lot of pressure on them. Can they try to get back to the level where they've been to win the last two Six Nations? It all starts here today.
Matt Dawson, Tommy Bowe mentioned pressure on Ireland, but pressure on England. They can't keep losing matches, can they?
No, certainly pressure on Steve Borthwick, maybe more than the squad themselves. I think the England side played pretty well in the autumn. There were glimpses of I can't quite. What's just a touch under world class, because it wasn't world class, but you know what I mean.
We're definitely clutching.
There were
good rugby.
There were moments.
They caught the ball, Matt.
There were some really good moments in the autumn, which sort of made me think, right, get some momentum going into the Six Nations. Now, of course, very difficult to come to Aviva and think that you're going to get any kind of momentum, which is why, to be honest, Chris, I thought they'd be playing all the big guns. I thought it would be a heavyweight selection to take on Ireland, because let's face it, that's where England beat Ireland last year at Twickenham. Nothing but heavyweight from Ireland's perspective. They know that physically you need to dominate this game in the first 15-20 minutes.
Yeah, we'll go through the teams in a moment as England pick three fetchers in their back row. Ireland return with a big number 6 in Ryan Bird. So fascinating selections from both Steve Borthwick and Simon Easterby. But this fixture, Tommy, is always special. But it's seldom on the opening weekend, only twice in Six Nations history, 2000 and 2019. Have these two teams met on day one?
Yeah, it is quite unusual. Normally it comes down to St. Patrick's Day. It's Ireland are coming to town to try and upset the party on St. Patrick's Day, and a lot of the time England have sent them home with the tail between their legs. So yes, first game up. The last time I remember this happening, I was sitting a little bit further over in the stadium here to watch it, and it was 2019. Eddie Jones had just taken over the English team, and boy, they blew this Irish team off the park, completely ruined Joe Schmidt's plans going into the World Cup that year. And yeah, there is just that little bit of a worry that this team could come here, talk themselves down and pull out a mega performance.
Was that the fast start from England?
Yeah.
With Johnny May in the corner?
Yeah, fast start, but Matt, and it's brilliant that Tommy's brought it up. It was the last time England have won here. It was when Ireland had been top of the world in 2018, and then
beat the All Blacks.
Beat the All Blacks, Team of the Year at the World Rugby Awards, and then they started their slide and went nowhere in the Rugby World Cup. But England did it that day with Mako and Billy Vunipola, Manu Tuolangi in the midfield, big men banging down the front door. They've not got that cattle. England have to do it a different way this afternoon.
Did I peak too early with my assessment of where England need to be? My previous answer. It is, you're absolutely right for me, about first up, establishing yourself in the Six Nations. And, you know, as much as we love this tournament, and we all passionately love this tournament, the basics will win you games in the Six Nations. And it's a game of rugby. It's a confrontational sport, particularly at the very, very top end. You've got to win that gain line battle. And that is my one concern about this England side. It is, can they match Ireland?
And they're going to have to slightly do it a different way without those big ball carriers, Tommy. Just watching England warm up now, and Marcus Smith putting a cross kick through for Tommy Freeman. Steve Borthwick spoken in the last year about England being more explosive and dynamic than powerful. So does, with all that in mind, this England team scare Ireland? And if so, which areas do you think?
Big ball carriers is one thing, but if you had watched Leinster play over the last couple of months, couple of weeks, certainly in the European Cup, which 11 of the starting Irish team are part of that team, they're bring it on. Bring on your big ball carriers. We will then poach the ball and steal it, turn it over and get through our phase play. Where what I find it is very interesting from England's point of view, they're not going for the big power play. They're going to try and slow down Ireland's ball, not let them get into the routine that they're so good, ball in hand, going through phases and just wearing teams down. So England are trying to upset that. I see there's a couple of real key areas. They're going to go at the tight head. They're going to go at Finlay Bealham. I would imagine that Ellis Genge is going to have a real cut off the Irish front row in scrum time. Back row battle is going to be phenomenal, and then you're going to see the ball pumped into the air over this Irish back three.
Tommy, what we are going to see from Ireland is a very solid defence. That they are miserly in what they give away. And I was just watching England run through their patterns there and their play, and it was all about quick ball, and they were breaking the gain line 2 or 3 yards and getting quick ball. You're like, okay, and that's getting you into the rhythm of the game. I understand that, but the reality is, what can you create off static ball? What can you create off parity? And that probably comes down to the individuals.
What I'm thinking they're expecting is turnover ball. What can they do when they turn it over? Quick transition and try and catch Ireland on the bounce, because Ireland will go through phases. But if the Curry brothers can quickly turn that over, there's that transition play. And that is one element of this Irish team that they have been caught, and particularly by New Zealand and Australia at the hop in November.
Yeah, because that's the question. What happens when Ireland's continuous game breaks down? And that's why he's gone with this back row. And Steve Borthwick mentioned this a few weeks ago when we spoke to him. I think it was at the Six Nations launch in Rome. He was saying, yes, they're famed for their ball continuity, but they're also kicking a bit more. If you can slow them up and do what the All Blacks do, Ireland ran out of ideas that night. We were both here in these very seats for 5 Live, weren't we?
And the back three for Ireland, the two wingers and fullback, have played 4 matches between them since last autumn.
Risk for you?
Very, very undercooked. And from Simon Easterby's point of view, he's the new head coach with Andy Farrell obviously looking after the Lions. They're undercooked. They're not being picked on form, so they're expected to go out there and really deliver, and that's an area Borthwick is going to be expecting to put the ball on top of them. Let's climb into them and try and get the Curry brothers to get on top of that bouncing ball and really thrive on it.
We've certainly noticed a difference. Tommy has been giving me some great intel on Leinster, and their consistent performances have been slightly different. It hasn't necessarily been this all full court press attack. It's not quite as coordinated as maybe as years gone by, and the defence is starting to take over with Nienaber as a coach. Yeah, that potentially will have influenced England's selection, because if it's not as connected, then you are going to get those things that you're talking about, the way that the game is slightly disjointed, and England and the Curry brothers, or as I like to call them, Twindaloo, will be all over them if they're given that opportunity.
Well, that's it. Jacques Nienaber is the Leinster head coach now, just brought in because Leinster have had this star-studded team for the last 5, 6, 7 years, but haven't won the European Cup in that time. He's won 2 back-to-back World Cups with South Africa. He's been brought into Leinster to teach them how to play cup rugby, to win when the going gets tough, and it's not pretty. So the style of rugby that Ireland and Leinster have played in the last couple of years has been wonderful on the eye. It's been great to be a spectator.
And it's been very
it.
similar, hasn't it?
It's been very similar. But now, how is it going to be different with Leinster playing a very, very defensive game style and coming into Ireland camp? Are they going to continue that, or are they going to try and go back to the way they were playing with Andy Farrell before?
Because, Tommy, we know there are questions over England in terms of, the defence keeps changing style. They can't win tight test matches of late. They're well documented. But I can't help thinking there are questions over Ireland. They've got a new head coach with Andy Farrell away. They've got a rookie number 10 on his Six Nations debut. They have a Leinster team, like you've outlined so well, that is different to what it's been before. That synergy between Leinster and Ireland isn't the same. Compared to 2 years ago, where Johnny Sexton's at the helm, Farrell at the helm, Grand Slam game, you knew what you got from Ireland, it was awesome. England have to be thinking they can exploit these areas. They need to. They've got to be thinking that.
And sometimes when I follow the media, or even I talk to people outside the stadium here, I would believe that. But then you got to think, Ireland have won the last 2 Six Nations in a row. There's talk of them being the first team ever to win 3 Six Nations in a row. They won 3 out of their 4 test matches in the autumn. They unfortunately didn't win against New Zealand, where they were disappointed in that game. So they've got the pedigree. They've got the ability to do it. But there are question marks, and that's where people are just wondering. As you say, Andy Farrell's not there. Leinster have a new head coach. They're playing a different style of rugby. it wouldn't take much for England to come here and just put it up to them, change what they're used to seeing, and then we'll see the seeds of doubt maybe grow in this Irish team.
To add to that though, Tommy, we cannot underestimate all those characteristics that you've mentioned there that Ireland have. They also have motivation. It's England. They got damaged this time last year, properly damaged, and that has been a long year that a lot of people keep talking about. There is a huge inner individual and collective motivation for this Ireland side to come out and perform, and it's very difficult to sort of quantify how much of a difference that can make.
I mean, it's really interesting. Myself and Donncha O'Callaghan, the Irish second row, were talking about this during the week, and we were saying to the supporters, it's always about England. When you're going through the airport, they're putting your bags through the scanner, they're saying you better do the job this weekend. You can't walk down the street with everybody encouraging you for the England match. For the players, it's maybe not so much. It's not quite as big a game as everybody else leads it to believe, or leads you to believe. But I think for this Irish team, it's the first game of the Six Nations, and that's what's most important. Doesn't matter who it is in Dublin today. The first game of the Six Nations, if they want to try and win 3 in a row, they got to start with a win.
Go on, Tommy, you can give your podcast with Donncha a plug.
The Awful Load podcast, check it out if you want a good laugh.
But we've got you on Rugby Union Weekly after the game, so don't get carried away. And one of the issues we'll talk about on the pod after will be the fact that Andy Farrell is here. Lions selection. Hugh Jones has nabbed a hat-trick tonight, this afternoon, so straight away gone. How's that, Andy?
I have one for you. What about Maro Itoje up against Caelan Doris?
For captaincy.
Winner takes captaincy.
Because even though I would be absolutely certain at this stage, as we speak now, that Doris is going to be Lions captain, if Ireland flop, it's going to be hard to appoint him, isn't
Absolutely.
it? So it all changes over the next few weeks. Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a huge thing for Andy Farrell to be watching, because Caelan Doris is quite new to the captaincy. Obviously, Johnny Sexton was captain going into the World Cup. Caelan Doris was named as captain going into the autumn series. So this is first Six Nations as captain. A lot of pressure on his shoulders, but we haven't seen how he's reacted when things haven't gone his way. Maro Itoje, on the other hand, has had the ups and the downs. He's done 2 Lions tours. He's been there, he's seen it all. So if he's able to captain this England team to win at the start of the campaign, all of a sudden there'll be a few question marks.
Yeah, you could forget that Doris is only 26. He's had such a meteoric rise, 48th cap for the Leinstermen today. So Matt Dawson, how far? 10 minutes away. It's raced up to us kickoff. We've got the band up there. Anthem's on the way, and then we'll be into it here on Sports Extra. 5 Live joining us after 3 o'clock footballs. We'll go to the 5:30 game on Extra, but you will not miss a kick either on Extra or on 5 Live with us. So when we talk England, and we mentioned there, Matt, how there might be areas they can exploit when it comes to in Ireland's game. Ultimately for England, they need to get over the line, win those final quarters, get more impact from the bench. Is it mental? Is it personnel? Why have they been falling off these test matches in the final 20?
I mean, I'll stick to my narrative of England do have quality and they have depth. Everybody knows that around the world. The wonder of this, the rest of, I think, not that the rest of the rugby world are that bothered if England are not successful, but they're probably wondering how on earth such quality has not really driven itself to ultimate success over a sustained period of time. And I still put it down to great physical attributes and individuals, but consistently the decision making has not been good enough. And not just in the last 15 or 20 minutes of a game, it could be in the first 20 minutes of the game, but though I haven't got the stat in front of me, I'm not sure it's ever been worked out, but whatever you qualify as a close game that England have been involved in, whether it's winning by within 3, a lot of those victories go to the opposition. And I just think there are some fundamentals that the likes of nowadays, your Slade, Smith, Mitchell, obviously, Ben Earl at 8, Maro Itoje, and Tom Curry, they have to, Ellis Genge, they have to step up and make some really big decisions today during the game that we're not going to be aware of, but they are fundamentally the moments in the game that define whether you win or lose those tight ones.
Yeah, 100. I mean, You put it so well on our podcast this morning, Matt, about when the water carriers come on with the messages from the side won't always be right, will they? Sometimes as players you've got to go, no, we've got the feel here, and ignore what's coming. You can't be coached through the whole 80.
Yeah, I mean, and as much as that frustrates the coaches enormously, that is the reality. In how many hundreds of games we've all watched, you have never seen a coach come on and play a game of rugby. He's never stripped his tracksuit off and gone on and said, this is what we should be doing. There are nuances to this game that you only feel when you're on the pitch. And the top sides have players that understand that nuance and can change the game.
Well, the big thing, I think, from Borthwick's point of view, if you look at the bench, he's gone with the 6-2 split, a really strong, physical, impactful bench. So his big question mark for me is, when does he bring them on? At what stage do you start to try and think we need to really turn the screw in this Irish team? So there's a lot in it. The Irish bench, there's a huge amount of experience, a lot of older heads in it. But if Ireland are trying to chase the game, is that the right? Are they the right replacements that they're really needing?
I've got the numbers to back that point up. Guess how many caps England have on their bench between the 8?
50.
80, 81. And how many do Ireland have amongst?
Oh, jeez.
Hundreds.
509.
Wow.
Isn't that insane? I think that I read a stat that there's more caps on Ireland's bench than there is in all of the Welsh squad.
Well, not the whole 40-man squad, probably.
So. I mean, it's not far off.
Cian Healy's probably got more than the Welsh.
Well, Cian Healy, Conor Murray, Ian Henderson, Jack Conan are playing an awful lot.
I mean, Tommy just sort of brought something to my mind there. Is this a game where Steve Borthwick makes an early substitution? Has he really got it in him to think his selection's not worked? Does he make a big change early on in the first half rather than the second half? Who knows?
No, it's such a fascinating game, and it is 5 minutes away as the fireworks fly around the Aviva. A packed out ground, as you would expect when England are in town, and there go the England players to our left of the halfway line, led out for the first time by Maro Itoje. He has had to wait a while. 89th cap, age of 30. This is his time, according to Steve Borthwick. Can he lead England to a famous victory at the Aviva, or will it be Ireland, having won the championship in 2023 and 2024? No team in the men's Six Nations has ever gone back to back to back, and this afternoon, the next 2 hours will be definitive, you feel, as to the fortunes of both Ireland and England. Just before we have the anthems, the Ireland team: Andrew Porter, Ronan Kelleher and Finlay Bealham. No Tadhg Furlong, he's injured. James Ryan and Tadhg Beirne, the second row. Ryan Baird, Josh van der Fleer and captain Caelan Doris. Jamison Gibson-Park, Sam Prendergast, we've not mentioned him, the rookie, he's at number 10. Bundee Aki, Gary Ringrose, so much quality in the midfield. James Lowe, Matt Hansen, Hugo Keenan, the experienced but undercooked back three. England are Ellis Genge, Luke Cowan-Dickie and Will Stewart. Maro Itoje, George Martin, Tom Curry, Ben Earl, Alex Mitchell at 9, Marcus Smith at 10, Henry Slade, Ollie Lawrence in midfield, Caden Murley on debut, Tommy Freeman, Freddie Stewart the back three. Here's God Save the King. God Save the King, Matt Dawson. Just quickly, how did Ben and Tom Curry feel? Can you imagine?
I can only relate it to, if my two, and they're not even twins, but if my two boys were doing it, I think I would be a wreck. I would be a dribbling mess, and goodness knows what they're like.
How good is that? A soldier song around Dublin. Ireland's call is next.
We have come to answer our country's call from the four proud provinces of Ireland. Ireland, together standing tall, shoulder to shoulder, I'll answer Ireland's call. Together standing tall, shoulder to shoulder, we'll answer Ireland's call. We'll answer Ireland's
call. Awesome anthems. Awesome atmosphere in the Aviva, and we are seconds away. The green smoke in the sky as the players get ready. Oh, what an atmosphere building here, Deno. The smoke, the flames, the fireworks, the anthem, the packed out Aviva Stadium. A fascinating game full of narratives and subplots. Defining game for both teams' championships already, and we're seconds away. Just giving an update to our listeners on Radio 5 Live. We will be joining them in about 10 minutes' time as the full times come in across the Premier League and the Football League. But with the green smoke, Tommy Bowe, lingering in the air, how does it feel out there? I can only imagine. The referee's ready, but the players just taking their time.
I tell you, I'm fixated on Paul Byram, the singer who is trying to really bring some huge atmosphere into the stadium at the minute. Fields of Athenry rattling around the stadium. There's been question marks about the atmosphere, certainly over the autumn. A lot of talk about too corporate, too expensive for young kids to come here and watch their team play, but it's absolutely buzzing here at the minute. Yeah, great atmosphere to start what is going to be an epic first match for Ireland and England in the Six Nations.
I was a little bit sceptical of this fella sort of overpowering, but I tell you what, he has ramped it up.
Got a set of lungs, hasn't he?
Not just that, but his expression, and he's like, I don't care, I know the game should be kicking off, but I am going to finish this.
It's all on me tonight, whatever at the rugby.
This is definitely new. I know we've had your pal Donica down there whipping up the crowd before, but this is different level.
This is way better.
And we are waiting. England all in white, playing from left to right. Ireland in their green. It is set up magnificently. Twin brothers in the back row. Debutants on the wing for England. For Ireland, a 10 on Six Nations debut, a new head coach, so much to talk about, but all the pre-match chat counts for nothing now as referee Ben O'Keefe says let's go to work in Dublin. Marcus Smith with a little dinky drop kick off, and England win the tap back. They'll look to do that all day, that little aerial battle, try and pick up the scraps. They have the ball in reasonable attacking position. There's Marcus Smith. Oh, that wasn't too bad an idea, a bit too much on it for the debutant Caden Murley. Line out Ireland over on the far side.
I think that sets the tone, exactly what we're going to see from England. Little dinks putting it up there. Freddie Stewart, I think, got it up into the air with one arm to knock the ball back, and that's why you have that quick back row for England who want to snap on every little bit of loose ball.
Ireland go quickly at the line out off the top, and then Prendergast, all eyes on this 21-year-old. He looks to the manor born. He's the coming man of Irish rugby, preferred to the more experienced title winner last year, Jack Crowley. But England surely are going to try and pressurise the youngster as Gibson Park kicks. Murley on debut, he is sacked by Mac Hansen, and Ireland pour forward looking to counter-ruck. Have they managed it? They've got hands in there, Ireland, and referee O'Keefe is happy. Gibson Park stole it, then Mitchell stole it back. What a tussle already between the two number 9s. 0-0, 5 Sports Extra. A minute and a bit gone in Dublin. Ireland 0, England 0. Earlier on, Scotland rallied after an Italy comeback to win by 31 points to 19. They welcome Ireland at Murrayfield next weekend. But what shape will Ireland be going there in? As winners or losers, the next 78 minutes will tell us. As Alex Mitchell back in the team after injury. His box kick caught by Murley. Therefore, Ireland and Gibson Park just outside the early stages here. Ian, Ireland 0, England 0. A minute and 45 gone. Tactical game of chess already as Gibson Park goes to the skies, but no score yet. Gibson Park's kick is back in English possession. Earl finds Smith. Might be numbers here, Matt Dawson. Marcus Smith is away. Clean line break. Can he link with Freeman? He can. Tommy Freeman into the 22. Good stuff this from England. That is the game plan. Get some scraps and then really attack. There for Alex Mitchell. Might be advantage. No, still play on, says Ben O'Keefe, as Genge crashes into the Irish defence. England are in the 22 with decent ball. Smith on the gain line. Hits up his forwards as Ireland look to still, but the lightning fast ruck ball for England. Stewart a bit behind the gain line, caught by the excellent defence of Gary Ringrose. 2.5 minutes gone, compelling minutes so far as Itoje finds Genge. They're up for this physically, England. That's encouraging for the visitors. Smith goes cross field looking for Freeman and for Ben Curry, who's out there. Tom Curry rather. I'm going to probably get them confused a bit. Ben Curry wearing 6 with the tape job, but went out on the full mat. Ireland will get the line just outside the 22.
No, I don't think anyone's going to complain if you just say Curry at some stage during the game. Listen, unfortunately on that occasion it was just a bit early from Marcus Smith. He didn't need to do it. It's slightly prescribed, and there was a little bit of Irish cover. Actually, going through another couple of phases is where England are stretching as predicted. England want to play fast and furious, and they're going to test the Irish defence.
Marcus Smith looking dangerous with ball in hand there, looking very comfortable, and Ireland standing off him a little bit.
Prendergast's kick, I don't know if that was exactly where he intended it, but it's in Irish possession after England fumble it, and Gibson Park has it just on the 10-metre line, and then his pass is wild and goes through the legs of James Ryan, I think it was, and so England will get the line out.
And Ireland so
14
flat.
green, blood.
Ireland so flat in attack on that phase. There was nowhere to go for Prendergast.
Errors was the big thing, big question mark over Ireland in the autumn. Penalties, errors, not what we're used to seeing from this Irish team going back to the last Six Nations, even against South Africa in the summer. They were so clinical with ball in hand. You just mentioned it there. They were so flat. Nobody was too sure who was going to be getting the pass. Gibson Park flung it out in front of them, and it went right through the middle into touch. Bit sloppy from Ireland there.
Sort of answer the question that you threw in there in the middle of that commentary about, is that the plan? Was that the type of kick? I think there's so much analysis going on from both of these sides within this game. Any type of, that little chip through from Marcus Smith, or, the funny little moves that they're playing, the offloads, the shifts, the little chips over. They're willing to do it from anywhere.
Well, remember, England are short of line-out jumpers, and it's told there because they went to Itoje and Ireland picked them off. That is a big, risky selection from Steve Borthwick, having 3 flankers in the back row, none of whom really jump. And Ireland have stacked their back 5 of the scrum with jumpers, and they got stuck into England there. Gibson Park's kick, though, is gathered by Tommy Freeman. 10-metre line inside the England half. 0-0, 5 gone on Sports Extra from the BBC. George Martin, the big lump of a lock from Leicester, really making this shirt his own. He started the last 9 for England. Alex Mitchell back in the saddle. He was so important to England's attacking evolution in the last Six Nations. Freeman got up but couldn't claim that box kick, so it's there for Ireland. Going to be a lot of aerial stuff, but the pass is loose from Gibson Park. Ireland do have it, but not with the cleanest ball. So Gibson Park goes back to Prendergast, whose kick it's fine, but it's perhaps gone a little bit too short, and then it's back in the hands of Freddie Stewart, who might look to counter-attack. He throws a dummy, gets past Kelleher almost. England just making a few dents with the ball in hand, which will encourage Steve Borthwick. They run onto that one over on the far side. 40-odd metres out. Itoje the skipper out the back. Marcus Smith. Ben Earl looking to put some footwork on the Irish defence. 10-metre line for Mitchell. And they'll go to the air again. Marcus Smith saying to Tommy Freeman, get after this one, Tommy. And James Lowe does well. I can imagine those two having a tussle over the next 70-odd minutes, Lowe and Freeman. To the short side come Ireland, but they've not got the pace out there. And England go over the top, looking to spoil. And they pick and go through the ruck. Is that Prendergast playing a dummy half? Interesting stuff. Itoje's on that ball, but he's not. 6 minutes gone. Ireland 0, England 0, but an encouraging start from England. Marcus Smith made a clean line break. Lots of kicking, as we said earlier. Tactical game of chess being played by both head coaches, but no points. Compelling stuff though. 6.5 gone. Ireland 0, England 0. Ireland through Prendergast. They're inside their own 22. Mitchell scrags him. Interesting, Tommy, not going to the boot here, Ireland. Trying to run it out of their own territory, and then it's gone loose. And I think England might have the line out.
Yeah, Ireland look like they've turned it over, trying to run out of their own 22. No, looks like Ireland are going to be given the line out. Really interesting from England. They're going through 2 or 3 phases and then just putting the ball into the air. There's no need to play too much rugby against this Irish side. Put the ball into the air, get up and contest it, and it is working for England so far. One key thing that I think is interesting, Mac Hansen, the Irish right winger, has had to go off. It looked like he's injured. So Gary Ringrose, who started at 13, has now had to go to the wing with Robbie Henshaw going into centre.
Yeah, the danger of having a sort of more of a centre as your back three cover on that. So yeah, these selections, they would have pondered long and hard, both coaching teams, about the balance. England are light with backs as well on the bench. Here's Ellis Genge, halfway line round the sponsors logo, still scoreless in the Aviva in Dublin. Ireland 0, England 0. But England have started pretty well. Ireland have barely had the ball in English territory. And as we flagged on the Rugby Union Weekly in the week, a fair bit of kicking from England, but contestable kicks, trying to win these tap backs. Lowe loses that one, but Freeman couldn't get onto it, and Ireland still have it as England look to spoil on the floor. But there for Gibson Park, Ireland still deep in their own territory, just outside their own 22, through former World Player of the Year Josh van der Fleer. Prendergast, that's an old school spiral, but down the throat of Marcus Smith, who takes it on his knees, tumbling forward. He might want to have a go here, Smith, and he almost got past the first defender. Offloaded to Ollie Lawrence, who's gone through. Good burst, Ollie Lawrence. Up to the 22 he goes. England have numbers to the left. Mitchell, has he got support? Couldn't quite find Martin. Good defensive read by Ireland. That was dangerous. Here is Smith though. Wide it goes. Henry Slade on the far side. Kicks through for Murley. Try coming for England. And what a start to your Test career. 8 minutes gone. And Caden Murley is up and running. And England are up and running.
Yeah, ruthless from England there. Not only in the contact, in the basics, with the ball carry, but thinking rugby. Every single phase that went from that initial counter-attack from Marcus Smith, they went the right way. They went to the overlap. Brilliant bust from Lawrence, and then open field, heads up. That's what you get from Marcus Smith. He is going to pick the right side, darts down the left-hand side. It was like a 3-on-2, 3-on-2.5, made another couple of metres. And then eventually, when it was the 2-on-2, no one in the backfield. Again, using their brains there, Tommy.
A super try for England, a super start for England. They've probably been the team that have come out of the sheds best in the opening 9 minutes of the match. But from Sam Prendergast, the young out half for Ireland, he'd be disappointed. It was a clearance kick. He kicked it straight down the throat of Marcus Smith, who we know is such a danger man with ball in hand.
And Smith has kicked the goal from the touchline. England lead by 7 with almost 10 minutes gone. Murley with the try, and England have made a dream start really. Ireland 0, England 7 in the Aviva as Prendergast kicks off, and Martin is under that. Elwell's dropped it. It's going to be there for Ireland. England had to resource the kickoff and they didn't, so it will be an Irish scrum on the 22. And the Aviva. Thanks very much, Ian. Welcome to our listeners on 5 Live. 10 minutes gone. Ireland 0, England 7. England have made a terrific start here. They've bossed territory in possession, and they've come up with the killer blow when it's mattered. And it's Caden Murley who has scored for England on his debut. The Harlequin, after 8 and a bit minutes of his Test career, a dream start. The little kick through from Henry Slade, gathered by Murley. Murley scores, and Marcus Smith belted it over from the touchline. England lead at the Aviva, but Matt Dawson and Tommy go, the one thing you got to do after scoring, is win the kick-off. England knocked it on. Ireland scrum, dangerous position.
Ireland scrum, yes, on the England 22 on the right-hand side. Perfect attacking platform. Ireland really need to up their game. It's been a disappointing 10 minutes for them. They look very disjointed compared to the Irish team we have seen over the last year. And for them, they need to just get into the game, start going through phases. England are doing a lot of kicking. Ireland seem to be trying to do the same, but it doesn't suit them, and the crowd need to get behind them here.
Well, Irish fans, rugby fans have just been used to this green machine going through phase after phase, and it's a yard here, it's 5 yards there where they're making it. It's just proficient. Everybody knows where they're going, and as far as if you're an Ireland supporter watching or listening to this, it's been static, it's been lateral, it's been loose with the kicking, with the passing, with their discipline, whereas conversely England spot on.
Ireland have done nothing yet, but it's only 12 minutes old, this game, as Doris is caught. Gibson Park finds Aki again. Not much fluency to the Irish attack. Ireland going through the fades. They might have numbers here. Prendergast, good ball. Hugo Keening in the wide channel. Full-time Ipswich coming shortly. Let's see what Ireland can do as they lurk dangerously. They've got penalty advantage. They work in the short side. James Lowe's onto this kick. Lowe goes back inside. Martin gathers. England survive, but they give the penalty away. Ireland can kick to the corner or kick for points. Full time at Ipswich. Southampton, Chris Coles.
A win for Southampton, just a second Premier League win of the season for them. A damaging defeat for Ipswich. Paul Onuachu's winner in the 88th minute. They're still 8 points from safety. Ipswich remain in the relegation zone. Ipswich 1, Southampton 2.
Thanks a lot, Chris. Wolves against Villa kicks off at 5:30 for our Sports Extra listeners. We'll be there with Conor McNamara and Michael Brown in about 25 minutes time. Here in Dublin, Ireland kick for the corner. They could have gone for 3, but they sense the momentum. Listen to the noise around Dublin. Ronan Kelleher prepares to throw. Ireland stacked with line-out jumpers. One of them is Tyburn. He takes it. England have to be careful here. Heave is the cry from the Irish faithful. England try and spoil the likes of Itoje, prominent as ever, but Ireland are motoring forward. Was that taken down illegally? No. Referee Ben O'Keefe happy, so there for Gibson Park, but it's slowed up. He pops it out to Lowe, who's almost up to the line. Now Gibson Park to the left, then it's been lost, has it, by Baird, but it didn't go forward. So Ireland still have it through Gibson Park. Despairing defence this from England, but they've given penalty advantage away. Aki came on a crash ball, but Prendergast picked it up. Then it's been lost. Kicked forward by Van der Fleer. That one has ended up dead, but it's going to be a penalty to Ireland. Let's go to Goodison full time. Everton have whacked Leicester, John Bennett.
Everton 4, Leicester City 0. They scored after 10 seconds when Abdoulaye Doucouré ran on to a long ball, and they never looked back. Beto scored twice. Iliman and Jai found the net near the end. Everton 4, Leicester City 0.
David Moyes doing a job.
In
Dawson.
Moyes we trust.
We could do them here in Ireland at the moment. Yeah, the pressure's on this Irish team. Tap and go 5 metres out. They need to score.
Not going to the line out. They're going to tap and go. Ronan Kelleher, Ireland trail by 7. That's old school. He just tapped and ran with it, did Kelleher. 15 minutes gone. Captivating minutes as Ireland drive. They couldn't be much closer here. They trail by 7, but they can level things up. Bodies on the wrong side from England. Defending with everything they've got, but is this green machine going to be too powerful? The Aviva in full voice. Gibson Park, Bundy Aki could tackle Marcus Smith on the bigger man in Aki. Gibson Park, Itoje's through. Oh, what a bit of spoiling work from Itoje, and he's at it again, the skipper. Awesome stuff, but Ben O'Keefe's got his arm out for an advantage. Is it penalty or scrum? It's there for Kelleher. What a ferocious contest this is in Dublin, with England scoring early through Murley, but Ireland putting so much pressure on now. Ball is loose, going to be another penalty, and this is where Matt Dawson, Ben O'Keefe might think about cards. But let's go to Derby first. Derby, Sheffield United, Pat Murphy.
Sheffield United won 1-0, one piece of class, cannon, sharp turn, low cross, turned in by Brereton Dias. Derby have now lost 7 league games in a row, a club record. Derby 0, Sheffield United 1.
Thanks a lot, Pat. Let's listen to Ben O'Keefe and Maro Itoje.
I've given. There's been multiple advantages for offside. The penalties for you for diving over the ruck there, you, back here playing the 9, and multiple offsides. We have another defensive penalty down here, will be a yellow card. Please talk to your team. Discipline needs to be better.
I mean, great.
Yep, you got about 20.
Great scrapping from England, but there's a fine line there, and quite rightly, I mean, England had to push the boundaries and did, and got caught out. But I would have to say that absolutely sums up where Ireland are. I don't know, for the last 6 years, Ireland score 90%, 95% of the time.
They do, but that line speed from England, there was all that talk, are they going to still keep going with the line speed, which seemed to work for them? Boy, they were getting off the line there. Some unbelievable tackles by Marcus Smith and the likes of Bundy Aki there. But it's just that fine line. If you go that little bit too early, it could really go against them.
Well, what a fillip it would be for England if they can keep Ireland out, but if Ireland can respond, that will settle some nerves around the Aviva. Oh, they're going to score! The ball shot out from the ruck, and Ronan Kelleher had an open goal. Weird try, but Ireland are going to go back level.
Yeah, I mean, you can't allow for that. Great defence from England. Ireland, error-free under such pressure. And then a super quick ruck, but the ball squirted out the ruck really quickly, I think off an England hand or boot. And therefore England were ahead of the line, didn't expect where the ball was going to come out to. Wonderful little dummy and go. Any scrum half would have been proud of that, but it was a hooker doing it this time.
Yeah, I don't think he could believe his luck. It was a nice little intricate tap and go 5 metres from the line, but the ball just sat there. Nobody really seemed to be looking at it. Ronan Kelleher picked it up, and the referee looks like he might have spotted something though.
What are they checking here, guys?
Could be a knock on.
I think there was
What we want to check to see is if at the back of that ruck a player off their feet wasn't holding a player that wasn't part of that ruck. If they were part of that ruck, he can be held, but if he's not part of the ruck, then we need to look at that, please.
Yes,
Yep, we're checking now, Ben. Here they come.
Basically kind of obstruction off the ball, kind of stuff that pre-TMO just no one picks up.
I think it's because the ball was so far out of the ruck, actually. It meant it was open play.
So I think Tab
falls off
Byrne
his feet there,
is in
holds
the ruck
leg.
and is
Number 4
holding
white
the
can't
leg
come
of
across then defense.
Maro
So
Itoje.
penalty disallowed try.
And Maro Itoje is going to
Disallowed
claim
try.
that he could have filled
He was
that
in
gap
that
to
ruck,
score.
surely.
I think he
Yep,
was in the
I
ruck,
agree
but
with
that
you.
doesn't mean that I don't think Maro Itoje was in the ruck. I think Tab Byrne was in,
Okay.
so
So
Byrne was
you
in
think
the ruck.
Maro
I'm sorry,
Itoje was
we're
trying to
gonna
come
disallow
around?
the try. The player's off his feet at the back of the ruck.
Well, I tell you what,
Forward trying to come
It's
across
a-
to defend, he holds him off his feet, stops the potential tackle, disallowed the
it's
try.
a good spot, but up
No,
and down the
well,
country,
the player was off
that
and
just
held the
gets
player
given,
illegally.
doesn't it? Okay, full-time Birmingham, Tom
Okay,
Gale, and
thank
we'll
you.
come back to that.
Birmingham 2,
Go on,
Rotherham 1,
go on.
Chris
Marcus
Davies'
here,
side
15
come from
metres.
behind to go 4 points clear at the top of League One. A Jay Stansfield second half double, the winner from the penalty spot. Birmingham 2, Rotherham 1.
Thanks a lot, Tom. And full-time at Cambridge, Mark Webber as England kicked a touch.
Cambridge United 1, 10-man Wickham Wanderers 1. Cameron Humphreys took Wickham to the top of the League One temporarily, but when Sonny Bradley was sent off, Josh Stokes equalised with a screamer to make it Cambridge United 1, 10-man Wickham Wanderers 1.
Cheers, Mark. Awesome kick. Henry Slade up to halfway. Let's go to
14,
Crawley, Emily
14
Herbert.
Coming
Heartbreak
back
for the
on.
hosts, Crawley 1, Wrexham 2. The visitors open just 2 minutes in. A wonder goal equaliser from Ibrahim deserved to win it, but it was super sub Elliot Lee in the 95th minute to continue the pressure on the top two. It's Crawley 1, Wrexham 2.
And in League 2, full-time at Walsall for Adam Cottier.
Walsall 2, Salford 2. Walsall, the leaders, were 2-0 down here after goals from Stockton and Adelakun, but Danny Johnson scored twice in the late stages. Walsall 2, Salford 2.
Thanks a lot, Adam. All the full-times in now in our featured games. I'll rattle through them shortly as well, as England did win the line-out, which is going to be big for them with their slightly smaller pack. And what a big boost for England not to concede. It was obstruction against Tyke Byrne. Irish fans around here will think it was soft, probably by the letter of the law fair. And maybe that's the advantage of having Maro Itoje captain. He's gone to the ref. Hold on, I was held. As Ireland look to spin it. Bundy Aki pops it up to Gary Ringrose. Halfway line, far touchline England. Tackling well, almost 20 minutes gone, it's flown by. Ireland 0, England 7. Itoje, what a read on Finlay Bealham. He knocked it on, but he completely ruined Ireland's attack. Slade gives it to Mitchell from the intercept. Mitchell scores, but it's not going to count. Referee's got it, don't worry, Tommy.
Thank you.
But I tell you what, Itoje has read Ireland's pattern there. And if it wasn't for the knock-on in the tackle, England are 14-0 up, Tommy.
Wow, we saw
Hey,
a
guys.
sigh of relief there from an Irish point of view.
What are you
Yes,
doing?
I mean, you're
We're having
talking
a scrum, guys.
60 minutes
Having a
of
scrum,
60
come on,
metres of
having a
play.
scrum.
Maro Itoje involved, trying to get around the ruck, being held in by Tyke Byrne. A wonderful spot by the fourth official. England up the other end of the park. Sam Prendergast, the young out half, tried to throw a wide skip pass, and it was Henry Slade, I think, picked it up.
I think the referee's made
Okay,
a
30
little bit of an
seconds.
error there.
Let's go,
I think he blew the whistle too quickly.
Might be a bit harsh on Maro Itoje.
Just to let the play unravel to see what happens.
Like they do in football, don't
then
they?
you can you could just bring that back, no problem whatsoever. And we haven't seen many replays of it. It was a close call.
Djingi's deliberate maybe if it's
it was a hell of a tackle.
Twickenham.
Hell of a tackle again.
Well,
we're seeing that
possessed.
English line speed again causing Ireland lots of trouble.
And he's leading the charge though, isn't he, Mara? In that line speed. Possessed.
Captain's performance so far from the England skipper. Ireland 0, England 7. Talking about 7-0, Forest the level on points with Arsenal after beating Brighton 7-0 in the early game. Elsewhere in the 3 o'clocks, our commentary game: Bournemouth 0, Liverpool 2, Everton 4, Leicester 0. The David Moyes revolution continues apace. Ipswich wants that big win for Southampton, 2-1 at Ipswich. And talking of 2-1 away wins, Newcastle 1, Fulham 2 at St James's Park. Wolves against Villa kicks off in 22 minutes, and we'll be there on Sports Extra for commentary, and of course regular updates on 5 Live. Scrum Ireland centre field, Matt Dawson.
No, I was just slightly disappointed in your surprise in your voice when you said Everton 4.
Well, given they haven't been able to score a goal all season.
Just saying.
Balls out.
Sam Prendergast, who's had a tough start. That kind of cross kick is fine, and then Lowe dribbles it down the line. But Freddie Stewart with some strapping round his left leg. Oh, he's counter-attacking Murley. Oh, beautiful step. Caden Murley, he might be away. Big tackle, Gary Ringrose, but not before Murley made a few metres. Doris is in there to spoil. Mitchell eventually gets it. Ben Earl, a little bit isolated. England have to clear. They do. Alex Mitchell goes through the ruck. Good tackling Andrew Porter. He was almost away. I tell you what, England have been excellent in this first 20. Will Stewart, he is really isolated. Ty Burn will eat that alive, you feel. But it's there for England. They just about get there. Slightly playing with fire, but they have it as Itoje offloads to Curry. That time it's Ben Curry from Tom Curry's tip. Now Mitchell to Marcus Smith. A little ball over the top to Lawrence. He gets it to Freeman. Freeman down the right touchline. Freeman kicks ahead, couldn't quite get it away. But again, England dangerous, Matt Dawson.
I think we might have a look at a high shot with the previous ruck here. A couple of players staying down and maybe just milking the point. There were some close arm tackles.
I think it looked like it was Ty Byrne was over the ball trying to poach, and it looked like he took a shot to his head. It'd be interesting to see if the fourth official does pull it up, but so far England are finding spaces all over this Irish team, an Irish team that is normally so adept, so seamless, you can't get through them. But there's some real danger men out there for England. This whole fast way of playing that Steve Borthwick has talked about seems to be working.
But the players, credit to these England players, they are absolutely playing in the right area. It's not fancy. I can't see any risk in the rugby that England are playing at the moment. It's very pragmatic. It's a good kicking strategy. And by the way, they're not picking up the scraps. Ireland are picking up the scraps at the moment. If that bounce of the ball goes towards England and it starts getting broken field, England will cause Ireland even more trouble.
Let's keep going.
Mac Hansen's back on, so they're back to their starting backline, Tommy Bowe, but Bundyaki getting treatment.
Yeah, a lot of concerns. They need to keep Bundyaki on this pitch because he is so important to this Irish team from attack and defence.
I'll put time on.
Ireland just don't seem to have got through any phases. They've spent a huge amount of this game in their own half. And that comes down to the likes of Gibson Park, who's all the experience at 9, and the young out half Sam Prendergast, who tried to get out of their half with that crossfield kick. Didn't work for them, and that's where England are capitalising on. It's actually Irish mistakes.
And this time it's James Lowe who steps up to clear the lines instead of Prendergast with his cannon of a left boot. Great clearance past the 10-metre line. But England, if you're out there, Matt Dawson and Tommy Bowe, you're going to keep putting pressure on Prendergast, who, it's looked fine, but not been imposing.
Yeah, and watch England again. Probably won't go through too many phases. We'll put the ball up into the air on top of Mac Hansen, on top of James Lowe in the backfield. Just slow possession rugby, force some mistakes, and then capitalise.
There for England, they went quickly from the line out. That's what they've got to do. As Mitchell has some scrappy ball at the back of the ruck. It kind of shot out when I imagine he wanted a bit of a more stable platform, and James Lowe calls the mark.
I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to him.
And Ben O'Keefe tells Tommy Freeman to get back, and James Lowe, Tommy Bowe, with all his experience, 37th cap age of 32, he's just trying to calm people down, but his kick is a bit scruffy. Freddie Stewart lets it go, and now Freddie Stewart will run and counter-attack. No sign of kicking there from Stewart. He powers back up to the 10-metre line. Therefore, Alex Mitchell, options left and right, goes right to Itoje. Itoje out back to Marcus Smith, who flings it out to Tommy Freeman, who prods it down the line. That might bounce. That's a good kick from Freeman, and Lowe can't take it cleanly. Lowe finds Prendergast. What's Prendergast got? A bit of a wobbler, but a kick that does find touch. England line out, though, 10-metre line in Irish territory.
Prendergast, young guy, doesn't look too comfortable out there. Again, a nice, easy clearance kick, but just didn't seem to connect it as well as he would have hoped. It just doesn't seem to be going exactly as he would have hoped to this first match in the Six Nations for a start.
Every single moment Prendergast is getting the ball or near the ball, it's, you know very well on the old school flip chart.
Everyone come down.
In the week, whatever Prendergast does, you get in his face. You've got to keep your discipline, but every opportunity, and you can see he's trying spirals, bombs, they're just not coming off.
England win the line out. Marcus Smith, Ellis Genge on the gain line in centre field. He runs into a few Irishmen and pumps his legs and makes a few metres. England had done that well in the opening 23 minutes. Cowan Dickey, he was the first save. Then Marcus Smith has put up a towering kick, asking Murley to get it. Oh, brilliant take, Freddie Stewart, Aussie rules style. He came from nowhere, Stewart. And it's there for Alex Mitchell. Inside Ireland's half, George Martin has a carry in between the 22 and the 10. Ty Burns on the ball, but he might be second man. Referee's given the penalty to Ireland. One of those that could have gone either way, but great work, Ty Burn. Ireland win the penalty.
Yeah, Ty Burn needed that. Big moment for Ireland, because that was a wonderful crossfield kick and an absolutely incredible catch above his head by Freddie Stewart. Again, England just putting the ball into the air and expecting their big men to come up and tower above the Irish back three. Matt, from your point of view, for Sam Prendergast, a young guy, but as 10 you get so many opportunities to get the ball through your hands. Are you wanting to try and get more ball? He looks to be sort of fading back into the background a little bit. Doesn't seem to be stepping up, offering himself.
I don't know the guy, Tommy, but he looks so relaxed and so calm in his demeanour. But he has to understand this is probably the fastest Test match he's ever played, and that split second of decision and execution needs to get upped.
Still 7-0 to England. Ireland had a try disallowed earlier. Ireland have a bit of field position and territory. Gibson Park comes to the right. Bundyaki first receiver. Prendergast, that's nice. Mac Hansen, really nice. Over to the far side. Great carry. Almost up to the line was Ryan Baird. Gibson Park steaming onto the ball is Captain Doris. Penalty advantage. England might be in the bin here. They dive on it. Another penalty. What's Ben O'Keefe going to decide? It might be from the line break. Listen to the boos. England are going down to 14 here. Let's listen into the officials. And who is it that's being singled out?
The last time we were down here, I gave you a clear warning about defensive penalties. There are offside, players going off feet. We've had a line break, and your team's offside here again. It's the first time we're back down here. Yellow card.
Marcus Smith in the sin bin. An accumulation of penalties. Lovely rugby actually from Ireland. Aki and Prendergast working a shape. Hansen through. England scramble. They keep Ireland out. But Tommy Bowe, penalty Ireland. Marcus Smith in the sin bin. Big moment.
Yeah, a huge moment for Ireland. The referee, he did mention it. He said that if you keep giving away these penalties inside your own 22, you're going to be seeing a yellow card. I just mentioned about Sam Prendergast. Does he try to step up? Does he try to have an impact? He sweeps down around the short side. Lovely offload to Mac Hansen, who opened up the space, and Ryan Baird on the touchline. Huge guy, but so athletic. Ryan Baird broke through a load of tackles. Penalty to Ireland.
Yeah, big moment. These are the defining moments that we've all spoken about. Have Ireland got it again to go through the phases?
There's Baird at the front of the line-out. Van der Fleer. Hansen's the first receiver off his right wing. 7 metres out Ireland. 7 points down. Gibson Park. Itoje's off the line. He's timing them just about okay. Gibson Park carried on again by Ireland to within 6 or 7. Penalty to England though as Ireland obstruct.
4 green obstruction.
Well, big moment. A moment ago was Smith in the bin. Ireland with a penalty. Another huge moment here as England again survive. Ireland concede the penalty. Caelan Doris frustrated. England penalty, a chance to get out of trouble.
Yeah, Ireland haven't quite worked it out that they need to challenge the breakdown. They need to pick and go through the middle. They need to run round the fringes. Gibson Park needs to get that organised, because England's defence, and even more so now as 15 guys in white, are just fanning across the field, and every time Ireland and Prendergast look up, they just see a wall of white, and it's a bit, oh my goodness me, where are we going to attack? You've got to attack through the ball to just narrow the defence.
Well, you got to attack through to try and pull them in, but there was space on the outside with Marcus Smith, the out half, off. There is going to be that one man short in the back line. Ireland really need to open it up now and try and find that space on the outside.
Well, I imagine Henry Slade goes into play at number 10. No George Furbank. Ben Earl, good step, but he's scragged by Tig Byrne. England will have to play 8 minutes now with no fly half. Back it goes to Stewart. He's got a big boot. He cleared it. A good kick, Freddie Stewart. And they go quickly through Mac Hansen to Ireland. Hugo Keenan scampers up to halfway, throws a dummy, tries to step. Good tackle coming in. Looked like George Martin, the giant lock. Prendergast goes cross-field, almost caught by Lawrence. He wanted a penalty, Prendergast. Has this gone too long? No, good take stay. That is good skill as well. He tapped it back inside. England still lead by 7. We're only 12 and a half away from half-time. The sport headlines on the way as England drive on. 12 minutes from kick-off at Molineux. We'll have commentary on Sports Extra and the second half on 5 Live after the rugby's finished in Dublin. Alex Mitchell in between the 22 and the 10 metre line, 15 minutes in from touch as the skies darken around the Aviva. James Lowe takes it under pressure from Freeman. There's Ben Curry who's making mischief. Gibson Park. Ireland drive on again through the effervescent Ryan Baird. England need to keep their discipline. Ireland maybe want a chance to get back into England territory. Will they go to the boot again here, Tommy?
They look slow, they look tired. There's not the same dynamism you normally see from this Irish team. They look a bit rudderless out here at the moment, putting the ball up into the air. They have to remember England are down to 14 men. They need to go through the phases, trying to squeeze them in and then find that space out wide.
Well, they might have space out wide now. A left to right ball from Prendergast. Hansen up against Murley. Hansen up to the 22, a few metres in from the far touchline. 12 minutes to go, just under till the break. As England win the penalty on the floor, that's awesome work. At the breakdown, it's Tom Curry.
Holding on.
And England again survive, and how much of an emotional lift is it for England to keep surviving and Ireland the opposite?
You're gonna hear a couple of pundits in slight disagreement here. I'm just going to pick up on a winger's perspective of what they should be doing. Now get it to the outside channel. Come on, give it to me. Give it to me.
If I
can
hear
score.
you say you got to earn the right to go wide.
No, absolutely not. It's nothing to do about earning the right to go wide. England have got 3 unbelievable jackalers in their team. If Ireland go wide, they are going to run the risk that they're going up against. Backs are going to try and have to clear out 3 quality. That's why I'm saying I need to go through the guts in some way, shape or form to squeeze England in.
Keep going,
At the moment, if they try and go wide, they're going to get eaten alive.
Halfway line, Cowan-Dickey's throw doesn't find anyone as England's line-out has just creaked, and that was one of the concerns. Half an hour gone, 7-0 to England, but Ireland have had a really strong passage of play so far. Pointless as Prendergast goes on the wraparound, finds Keenan on the outside. He had Lowe, but he went to go inside, and Ireland have got behind England potentially here. Nice little ball, Aki out the back. Oh, this is good rugby. Lovely ball from Prendergast. Josh van der Fleer comes from out to win. Slap bang in centre field, lightning fast ball. Gibson Park to the right. Bundy Aki, he loses it, and England again scramble brilliantly. But that was a bit more like it from Ireland with the ball in hand, Tommy Bowe, admittedly against 14.
Looked very dangerous there. The try line was there for the taking. Josh van der Fleer going through a wonderful gap. Sam Prendergast, when he does that loop play coming round the back, he seems to find huge space, is able to pick the right pass, put the right man away, but unfortunately it was just the ruck ball was too quick and Gibson Park didn't know who to give it to, gave it sloppy pass to Bundy Aki, who dropped the ball.
Mitchell clears the touch. Ireland line out earlier in the Premier League. 2 for Mo Salah. Liverpool 9 cleared. They beat Bournemouth 2-0. Hat-trick for Chris Wood as Forest thrashed Brighton 7-0. Southampton won at Ipswich 2-1. Fulham also came from behind, beat Newcastle at St James's. Talking of 7, Leeds put 7 past Cardiff. They stayed top of the Championship. Birmingham remain top of League One. They lead by 4 points now after victory, and League Two leaders Walsall came from 2-0 down to draw 2-2 with Salford in the Racing. Galloping Deschamps wins the Irish Gold Cup for a 3rd time at Leopardstown, and earlier in the Six Nations, Scotland survived an Italy comeback to eventually win by 31 points to 19. The Scots up and running, a hat-trick for Hugh Jones. And a stoppage here, Tommy Bowe.
What's going on?
After 30 frenetic minutes, it's going to be an Ireland line-out, but both the Toje and one of the Currys, I think Ben
Curry,
are both down, but they're now both up.
Are you allowed to just
stop playing? We have a musical lull.
Yeah, it's a bit odd that 2 players decided to go down to take a bit of a, physio's coming out to have a look at them, so they press play on the music system, and the play just seems to have stopped at 30 minutes for some reason. Seems a bit odd.
Yeah, maybe a little tactical.
Yeah, it gives England a
tactical
chance.
Break there. Just 30 minutes gone, 14 men on the pitch. That's sensible, using the brains. I like it. England fan, that is great game management just
Again,
to take the wind out of Ireland's sails.
Is that the sort of thing that Andy Farrell, as the Lions head coach, would be looking at Mauro thinking that's quite clever play, streetwise?
Ireland go down the blind side into the England 22, go the Irish. A little ball of that, they're just not quite fluent in their phase play. Are they, Ireland? They're having their moments, but England are keeping them out. 30 minutes gone, Ireland 0, England 7. We'll be at Molineux on Sports Extra shortly, but we'll continue with the rugby here on 5 Live as Gibson Park goes to the left. Is it another penalty advantage? Gary Ringrose short ball, Hugo Keenan. What a tackle that was, coming in by Tommy Freeman. Curry steals. That was fine, says the referee, but back for another penalty. Remember, England are down to 14 with Marcus Smith in the bin. Another 3 minutes and 40 on the stopwatch for Marcus Smith's sin binning as tempers flare between the forwards. Ben O'Keefe.
Guys, I'm restarting over here.
Says I'm restarting over there. Ireland penalty.
Yeah, Tommy Freeman is down. Physio's on, and we all know what that means. That means that the fourth official, TMO, will be looking at something to see what it was. There was a little bit of a handbags and shirts being pulled. Does it draw an attention to anything in particular? Who knows?
England at space, offside.
Doesn't look that way.
Sam Prendergast, as you say, he looks so relaxed. He's 6'4" for an out half. He's a big guy, and he just seems to be able to. He's one of those players that just looks when he has the ball in hand. Things are able to go in slow motion.
Ireland kick to the corner, Kelleher to throw. Still, Ireland yet to score, but they've been camped in the England 22 for much of the last 10 minutes. Heave the cry from the Aviva. England again spoiling and pushing them backwards, but Bundy Aki carries good bust from the Ireland centre there for Gibson Park. There's Josh van der Fleer coming at pace, but a big tackle coming in by George Martin. Loose ball. There's Andrew Porter. Gibson Park out to Lowe against Stewart. There might be a penalty here because it was kind of a trip. I don't think it was deliberate. I think Lowe's footwork just did for Freddie Stewart. Play on, says the referee. Mac Hansen, wait to go crossfield, caught by Ollie Lawrence, centre field. In the 22, Ireland looking for their first points of this game. Kelleher out the back, then lost by Keenan. England will have the scrum unless we go back for that Stewart challenge. And Alex Mitchell imploring his forwards to go to work. Under 2 minutes on the Marcus Smith sin bin. It would be an unbelievable lift for England if they could go this whole sin binning period without their 10 and not concede as Mitchell kicks the touch. And we go to Molineux on Sports Extra. Wolves against Aston Villa. Your commentary team, Conor McNamara and Michael Brown. Conor. But here on 5 Live, we stay with the rugby as Mitchell kicks up to halfway. And Ireland will have the line-out. Play on, says Ben O'Keefe.
What a shift from England this is right now, because Ireland are throwing the kitchen sink at England in every department. Doesn't matter where it's going, up the guts, in the midfield, out wide. They are trying every trick in the book, and England are, I'm not saying they're on the edge, but they are hanging, aren't they? They're hanging at the moment.
Did you see that? So obviously James Lowe, the Irish winger, is down getting looked at by the physio. The referee, Ben O'Keefe, asked him to play on, so Andrew Porter just fell to the floor. The referee comes, Andrew, I just saw that, get up please. Play on.
Ben O'Keefe on his game today.
He's now falling for that one.
And Aki carries, Gibson Park's right. Prendergast growing in confidence. As I said, that his pass a bit loose, not quite on that same wavelength with his teammates. Sam Prendergast, maybe understandable, this being his Six Nations debut, but halfway line for Ireland and slowish ball. We're edging towards half-time, Tommy Bowen. Ireland have yet to score. Ireland 0, England 7. Atoje's all over Prendergast as Ireland fling it to the edge.
Exactly what you say, Atoje all over Oh, here we go.
James Lowe's got away, inside to Gibson Park. Gibson Park, what a step. Gibson Park all the way. What a try, Jamison Gibson Park.
What a try.
They went wide. James Lowe fed his scrum half. Finishing from the Ireland 9. Just what Ireland needed after 35 frustrating minutes, but they're on the board.
Totally something from nothing there. James Lowe on the left hand side breaks a wonderful tackle off Mitchell, breaks up the left hand side, one-on-one with the fullback Gibson Park. Brilliant support on the inside and an amazing left foot step by him. Going around Murley, I think, in the backfield and finish it off. We'd be delighted with that. Great finish, just what Ireland needed.
Just talking about what it's taken out of England in that last 8 or 9 minutes, and you just saw there missed tackle from Mitchell. He had plenty of time to scrag him, even just to shove him into touch. Missed low, and then great ball inside to Gibson Park, who stepped. Oh my goodness me, Chris, I think he's missed that. Pendergast has missed that to the left-hand side. You know, Freddie Stewart shouldn't be missing that tackle. James and Gibson Park, you're like one-on-one. You can't. If you're going to let a player score, you've got to shove him on the outside, Tom. You can't let him step inside you.
The really difficult thing as well is that England are trying to come at Ireland with such line speed, get right up in, but all of a sudden, if Ireland do make a line break, there's nobody covering. And that was the problem there. Once James Lowe came through, Gibson Park was pretty much on his own, bar Murley coming across, easy step off his left foot, and he went over the line.
Well, Ireland needed that, and if England had just got them into touch, Smith would have come back on and they would have survived the sin bin period without their fly half. But in the end, the dam burst, and with half-time approaching, England's lead is now cut to 2. Ireland 5, England 7, but England are all over Gary Ringrose looking for the turnover. They've got it. They're in there on the floor. Looked like Ben Curry that time. England may have numbers here. Gench gets it away to Cowan-Dickie. Good dummy, Cowan-Dickie. Marcus Smith, they were rushing up to stop the ball getting to Smith. England ball in between 22 and 10 metre line. Ben Curry, good hands, Will Stewart. A little bit frantic from England on the 10 metre line as Ollie Lawrence sets it up to Mitchell. They might have numbers here. Ben Elvo puts his head down and sets it up there for the Northampton man, Alex Mitchell. Little kick through from Slade, will dribble out of play. We felt Matt Dawson from our great vantage point here. 1 or 2 opportunities for England, just couldn't work it to the outside.
They're 37 minutes in, Chris. They're not 2 minutes in. England have grafted, and an incredibly proud performance so far England have put in, but it is you can see hands on hips, hands on their haunches, taking another physio break here, waiting for Cowan-Dickie. It's taken its toll because Ireland are big, Ireland are strong, and Ireland have been flinging the ball around, so therefore you've got to put the energy in, and it's taken it out of England.
And on that, Tommy, we saw this in the New Zealand series, and England have a different defence now. It's more line speed rather than an out-and-out hard blitz, but if it takes it out of England this much, he's got to be really canny with his bench and use of his replacements, as Steve Borthwaite.
And it does take it out of you. When you have to do a 5, 10, 15 metre sprint back to back to back and then make a tackle, get him off the ground again, it's really, really demanding. And yes, we're into the 37th minute now. You can see the English team are starting to tire. They're trying to get the physios out to look at them, slowing down the game. Ireland won't be happy with this. Ireland want to keep the tempo up, to be telling Ben O'Keefe, keep playing. We want to play here. Why does it keep slowing it down? To be fair, I think they've a case in that.
It's going to be an Ireland line out. Ronan Kelleher preparing to throw. Matt Dawson is pointing.
For people who are watching the game, Chris, it's not good for the spectacle of rugby when they're having to slow down the game like this.
Well, the lawmakers keep saying that they're trying to get more speed in the game.
So what's going on? This is 2-3 times
now. It's a replacement. Will Stewart, as Matt Dawson pointed out, is off, and Joe Hayes is on for his 8th cap. But perhaps the biggest of all 8, this one for Joe Hayes.
Yeah, we're going to restart. Time on.
And time is back on. But it took a while to get going for that line out. Kelleher to throw. 7-5 England. Half time a couple of minutes away here on 5 Live. Remember, Wolves against Villa has just kicked off with Conor McNamara and Michael Brown over on Sports Extra. You want Wolves Villa? It is there on 5 Sports Extra, but Mike Minay will keep us up to date here on 5 Live. Reaction to the game's football with Chappers at half time, which is 2 minutes away as Gibson Park kicks, and England Matt Dawson will have one last bit of possession before half time with a line out round the halfway.
Yeah, it's a real crucial 2 minutes, this, I think, for both sides, for the game in general, because England are, I say, hanging on, but they've just got out of their pattern. They've got out of the way that was causing Ireland some problems, but then all of a sudden Ireland have found a little bit of mojo, so accuracy needs to be key.
England go quick. They've done that a bit, so they're being innovative to compensate for their lack of jumpers. Smith, Slade, good hands to Stewart, who made a few metres but not the best part of the pitch to attack on from England. That's better. That's a decent burst. Hayes over the 10 metre line he goes. Mitchell, Marcus Smith, great ball. Ben Earl straight through. Earl looking to step Keenan. That's awesome from Earl. And now England might have numbers to the left. Mitchell dummies, he's almost through, eventually caught. Burns there, so to Van der Fleer. England have no 9. Murley plays 9, they've got advantage. Ellis Genge puts his head down. Ollie Lawrence is there as well. Helped out by captain Itoje. England inside the Irish 22, working the short side. Over on the left touchline, 5 minutes in from touch. What do England have with a little bit of phase ball now? Martin crashes it up. Good rucking from England. There from Mitchell to Curry. Marcus Smith, that's nice. Out the back to Slade, who loses it. But it's a penalty. England have a penalty right in front of the post as Ireland infringed. And surely in the final minute of the half, England throw this over for a 10-5 lead.
I mean, 100%. There is no option here other than for Maro Itoje just to take a couple of bests. He will not give the referee a decision until everybody is ready, and then that clock will start and England will get themselves. I mean, am I allowed to give Marcus Smith 3 points here? Is that allowed?
It's very interesting, the talk coming into this game as well, Matt, about Finn Smith or Marcus Smith. Marcus Smith has been really electric when he's had the ball in hand here. He looks so dangerous coming around at an arc. And 2-3 men running off his shoulder, Ben Earl being one of them, and he just pinpointed and put him right through that gap. And again, finding spaces in this Irish defence which we're not used to seeing.
Smith has the ball on the tee, as widely expected. Itoje has opted for the points.
20 seconds.
And even though the stop clock is counting down, Smith cannot miss this one. 15 metres out, bang in front, head down, he pops it through. That is half time. Right, so much to go up there. England struck first. Caden Murley's try on debut. What a moment for Murley. Smith converted brilliantly after England made a great start, but then Ireland had brilliant passage. Time and time again, England held Ireland out, but eventually the dam burst with Gibson Park scoring. Prendergast couldn't convert, but Smith's kick on the buzzer, Mark Chapman, means it's Ireland 5, England 10 at the break.
I tell you what, Matt, Tommy and Chris as well if you want to come in, but Matt, it is compellingly tight and tense, isn't it?
And I don't think it was going to be any other way today, really. So much at stake, so much motivation, and 2 really good sides. I mean, Ireland, we haven't seen an awful lot of Ireland. If the truth be told, they can improve enormously, and if the coaching staff just do a couple of tweaks on that Ireland side, I think England will be under a little bit of pressure because they put so much on the line. But my goodness me, I'm so proud of the way that England are playing. It's very, very tough for Ireland or any team to stop this flow of white shirts because, you know, they're counter-attacking, they're being accurate, and they're causing a lot of trouble.
And England are capitalising on Ireland's mistakes. I think one of the big things I'm seeing from an Irish point of view is the lack of accuracy. You know, they're making a lot of mistakes as they've had huge opportunities in the English 22, 5 metres out from the line, but the English defence is just coming right up into their face. Ireland forcing Ireland into mistakes, and they just haven't been able to capitalise. It hasn't been the succinct Irish performances we're used to seeing, particularly here in the Aviva Stadium.
And now, chappers, we find out if England have learnt the lessons from France away, New Zealand away, New Zealand away, New Zealand home, Australia home, South Africa home. 6 tight games, lost all 6. Bench, final 20. Can England deliver now?
Give chappers your stat that Ross sent you before about teams going in at half-time.
Yeah, so Russ Petty, the stats guru, said that when Ireland play England at home, the last time the team leading at half-time lost was in 1983.
Whoa.
Wow. Russ Petty, stats guru.
What a stat that is.
So if England lose from here, it'll be the first time since 1983.
You mentioned it, Tommy, towards the end of that first half. There's an electricity around Marcus Smith when he gets the ball at the moment, and the strings that he's pulling probably helped him that he had 10 minutes to put his feet up in that first half as well. But there is, isn't there?
Yeah, he's looking really good. Going into this match, I always thought there was a huge talk. Does Finn Smith, the youngster, get given the opportunity, or does Steve Borthwick base this team around the electric Marcus Smith? And yes, he had a yellow card, he had that 10-minute break, but anytime he has the ball with the pack getting over that gain line, he looks really, really dangerous. And from an English point of view, I think they need to get him on the ball all the time, try and find gaps in this Irish defence, because he's the man who's really causing them a lot of trouble.
And come on, Matt, you've got to give Jamison Gibson Park some credit for the step, haven't you? If Beto had done that to a Leicester defender this afternoon, you'd be praising Beto, not criticising the Leicester defender.
It was a fantastic step, but Gibson Park had nowhere to go. He was at full tilt. He had no one to pass to, and I would just say if you're in a covering tackle there, if he's going to score, he's going to score in the corner. He's going to dot it down in the corner, and he's going to have to fight like hell to get to that corner. And I just thought Freddie Stewart herring across the pitch in a panic. You're therefore slightly susceptible to that left foot step.
I feel sorry for him. That's a tough tackle, that is. But listen, Ireland needed that score, because if Gibson Park hadn't have got that one, Marcus Smith would have come back on. That would have been 10 points with 10 minutes with no points for Ireland. So it was a crucial score at a crucial moment for Ireland.
So Ireland 5, England 10. Back with Tommy and Matt and Chris for the second half. Wolves Aston Villa is underway. It's on Sports Extra if you want to listen to it. It'll be here on 5 Live at the conclusion of the Six Nations. Currently goalless, about 7 minutes gone at Molineux earlier in the Premier League at lunchtime. Nottingham Forest 7, Brighton 0. And then at 3 o'clock, win for the leaders Liverpool at Bournemouth 2-0. David Moyes' Everton continue to go up the table. They thrash Leicester 4-0 at Goodison. Couple for Beto as well. Ipswich beaten at home by bottom of the table Southampton. That finished 2-1. And Newcastle beaten at home by Fulham this afternoon. They were a goal up at the break. Fulham came back in the second half to win 2-1. We'll get some reaction to the day's Premier League football. I'll tell you what happened in the EFL and in Scotland as well. First of all, 21 minutes to 6. Jill has the news.
The voice of the UK.
And the home of the Six Nations.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
US officials say 7 people died when a plane crashed in Philadelphia last night, including 6 on the plane and 1 person on the ground. 19 people were injured when the medical transport flight came down in a residential area. A second body's been found in the search for 2 sisters who went missing in Aberdeen last month. Eliza and Henrietta Hoodsey were both 32. Police say their family has been informed. Barclays customers are facing a second day of IT problems, with some telling the BBC they can't pay for essentials. Barclays says it's working to fix the issue and says no one will be left out of pocket. And family, friends and fans attended Linda Nolan's funeral in Blackpool earlier. The singer died last month at the age of 65, 20 years after she was first diagnosed with cancer. Giving the eulogy, her sister Denise said Linda showed courage in the face of adversity.
Here we are on BBC iPlayer.
Welcome back to the round table. I'm about to kiss a girl that I have never met.
Drag's the best, isn't it? These aren't reality shows.
What is going on?
They're fuel for the group chat.
Wow. And I'm there for it. I love the drama. We all relate in some way or another.
RuPaul's Drag Race UK, The Traitors, I Kissed a Girl, and loads more.
Take it all in.
Whoever you are, wherever you stream, BBC iPlayer.
This is 5 Live Sports
with Mark Chapman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Back to Dublin shortly, where England lead Ireland by 10 points to 5 earlier in the men's Six Nations. Scotland 31, Italy 19 was how it finished at Murrayfield. Reaction to some of the day's Premier League football to come, but who's been the better side in the first 10 minutes or so at Molineux? Mike Minay.
Maybe slightly Aston Villa. 10 minutes played. It's really yet to have its full flow, this game, after the battle of the high hos. Wolverhampton or Aston Villa, as the crowd tried to outsing each other at the start. Both sides wasted a free kick into the penalty area as well in the opening exchanges. A win for the visitors gets them a point outside the top 4. Where Wolves are concerned, a win for them lifts them out the relegation zone after Leicester lost earlier. Wolves 0, Aston Villa 0.
Liverpool 9 clear at the top of the table this evening after a 2-0 win at Bournemouth. Here's Arne Slot with Andy Gillies.
Arne, congratulations. Was that as difficult a game as you expected?
Yeah. Exactly as expected, because this is what I already knew when we played them at Anfield. 3-0 up at half-time, second half incredibly difficult because they just kept on going. That's a mentality you not often see. And then after that game, they just kept on winning over here. We're 11 games unbeaten. And there's a reason for that, because this team works incredibly hard. They're so intense, just keep running, keep fighting. So we had to do, as a minimum, the same to even have a chance to win here, and that's what the boys did. But it was as expected, a very difficult game.
You've talked about them. Let's talk about your team. So the reaction from your team to that Bournemouth performance, the way they played, how pleasing was that for you?
In the end, I think both teams had chances to score a goal. We were 2 times lucky with them hitting the post. Yeah, we of course have Mo Salah, that helps. But before that helps, you need to work so hard as a team and defend so well as we did. Then in the end, the quality of Mo can make the difference if you work just as hard as them.
We were behind his shot for the second goal. It was just magnificent. And that quality that he brings you is something special. Is that the difference between you and the others, to have someone like that in your team?
I think if you work in the Premier League, there are many great players, and Mo is definitely one of them, and this season he's been outstanding for us. But to only think that we can win games because of Mo, that would be also not realistic. If you look at the amount of effort the whole team put in, tried to prevent the other team from scoring, and if you look at the second goal, it's a brilliant setup, brilliant attack as well. Brilliant, but it was a very good setup and a very good attack as well to get him in that position. But the difference between the two teams today is maybe that they were in those positions as well, and then it hit the post, or we blocked the shot, and with Mo it ends up in the top corner.
Opening goal at Molineux, Mike.
In the direction of Wolves as well. Bellegarde thundered it in at the near post on the right of the penalty area. Sarabia, lovely through ball. He was onside only just, but who cares for that from a Wolves perspective. Villacourt playing out from the back. Wolves take advantage. Huge celebrations in front of the Kop, and it's Wolves 1, Villa 0.
So a 4-0 win for Everton at Goodison over Leicester. They're 9 clear of the bottom 3, and with that win, they've got above Tottenham this evening. Here's David Moyes with Sarah Mulkerrins.
Well, David, 10 points clear of the relegation zone and 3 wins in a row. Life must feel pretty sweet at the moment.
Well, certainly sweeter than we felt probably a couple of weeks ago. But look, great credit to the players for another outstanding performance at times in the game. Not all the time, but at times. And it's good to see that they're making good progress.
Did you expect that first half to feel so easy or look so easy for your side?
No, I don't think that for a minute. I think when you get a goal so quickly as we did, it gave us a great confidence boost. I think it was after about 8 or 10 seconds, so it was a great start for us. We backed it up with a second goal as well, which gave us something which allowed us to sort of play and just wait on Leicester a little bit, and to be fair, we were a bit unlucky not to have scored a few more goals at that time. We'd one ruled out for offside, and we had a couple other threats as well, so I thought at times the first half performance was very good.
In terms of what this will do now for the team, does it allow the shoulders to drop and relax a little bit more? Are you feeling like you're getting a bit more of your philosophy across to them?
Well, I think we've played well in the games, I really do. I think we've passed it well. I think we've made a lot of opportunities to score, missed a few as well, which can happen, but I have to say that I'm glad the way we're playing. I think we're playing well. I think we're doing a lot of good things. The players are trying to improve. We've got loads and loads to do, and there's a lot we can try and make better going forward. But as it stands, the job's to make sure that we're a Premier League team, and obviously the last 3 results will go a long way to make sure that happens.
In the Championship today, earlier at lunchtime, Oxford won 9-man, Bristol City won. Plymouth came from a goal down to beat West Brom 2-1. Watford down to 10 were beaten 1-0 at home by Norwich. Derby have lost again. They've now lost 7 on the spin, beaten at home by Sheffield United 1-0. Hull 1, Stoke 2. Leaders Leeds hit 7 past Cardiff, finished 7-0. Millwall 2, QPR 1, goalless between Portsmouth and Burnley. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Luton 1, and Swansea 0, Coventry 2. Leeds have 63, Sheffield United 61, Burnley 58. Sunderland have a game in hand, which is at Middlesbrough on Monday night. Blackburn have 45 and West Brom have 44. At the bottom, Plymouth 25, Luton 27, Derby 27. They are the bottom 3. Back to the Premier League. Southampton got a late winner, 2-1 at Ipswich. Here's Ivan Juric with Chris Coles.
Ivan, well done. That must be something of a relief to get that win under your belt.
Yes, of course. I think we did before some really good games. We deserved their points. We didn't concede it. And today we suffered because Ipswich was really good second half. But I think in the final we deserved these 3 points.
What does a moment like that do for the dressing room? There haven't been, I imagine, scenes like that there haven't been for a long time.
No, for a really long time. I think for the guys it's a real relief. I think that they have to believe that they can do it better than they do it before. They're working really hard, and we will see next game if we can still continue to win the games.
All the goals match the day, 10:30 on BBC One. Have your say on 6:06 at the end of Wolves Villa. Remember, Wolves leading by a goal to nil. Plenty more reaction on the BBC Sport website. In League One, wins this afternoon for Stevenage and Birmingham and Wrexham, Stockport, Northampton, Reading and Shrewsbury. All the other games ended as draws. In League Two, wins for Cheltenham, Notts County, AFC Wimbledon, Grimsby, Swindon, who won 5-1 at Carlisle, Doncaster, Morecambe, Newport, Port Vale and Colchester. The other games in that division ended as draws, including the one involving leaders Walsall, who came from 2-0 down at home to Salford to get a 2-2 draw. In the Scottish Premiership, Rangers and Celtic both play tomorrow. Third place Dundee United have just kicked off at Kilmarnock. It's goalless there. So in the 3 games at 3 o'clock, Hearts won 6-0 at Dens Park, beating Dundee. Hibs 2, Aberdeen 0. And St Johnstone, bottom of the table, got a 1-0 win at St Mirren. So that cuts the gap at the bottom between them and Ross County to 5 points. The story from the Scottish Championship is that Ayr went to the top of the table with a 2-0 win at Hamilton. In League One, previous leaders Arbroath were beaten 2-1 by Cove Rangers. So that means Stenhousemuir have gone top with a 3-0 win at Montrose. In League Two, leaders East Fife were beaten at Elgin, but they still have a 4-point lead over Peterhead. So it's Wolves 1, Aston Villa 0. That is on Sports Extra if you want to listen to that until we get to full time in Dublin, where Ireland are out and England are coming out. England are 10 points to 5 to the good. We're in for a cracking second half with Tommy Bowe, Matt Dawson, and in case people weren't listening at the end of the first half, your stat once again, Chris, it deserves
not mine. Russ
airing.
Petty, full credit to Russ. In this fixture, Ireland at home to England, the team leading at half-time has won every game since 1983. And England lead.
Just over 40 years ago.
Just over 40. Not exactly 40 years ago.
Not exactly 40 years ago.
Just over 40 years ago. 40 minutes have gone. Ireland 5, England 10. 40 minutes to go. And the teams are out. What a first 40. And it's the brutal reality of Test rugby, of international sport. All that effort, but it could come down to the final few minutes as Prendergast kicks off and Maro Itoje takes it, wrapped up by a combination of Ryan and Byrne, who force England to ground. And Alex Mitchell, with his orange boots, will clear his lines. I do wonder, Matt Dawson, your England number 9 shirt, that whether Mitchell needs to go the distance here. How does Steve Borthwick use this bench? England have struggled to see tight Tests over the line, but what a steal that is from Tom Curry. The Curry's in tandem, and well, he's on. Is he onside? He's got to be offside there, hasn't he?
Guys, we have a breakdown. So
exactly. So
he doesn't get back.
Weird one that, because Ryan Baird has come from the wrong side of the pitch and sort of egregiously tackled the England player, and Ben O'Keefe said there was a breakdown, so England get the penalty.
I don't really know what he was doing. He looked like he was running back.
Unless he thought it was open play
from Ireland's 22. He then, of course, a great turnover by England, just what Ireland wouldn't have wanted. And then, Mitchell is absolutely emptied by Ryan Baird there. An amazing tackle, but unfortunately it's a penalty against him from an Irish point of view. Now it's a line out to England inside Ireland's 22.
Can we just clear up the 40 bit? You are 40 years old today, otherwise people are going to be listening thinking, why do they keep saying 40 the whole time?
Mark Chapman, not me. As
Happy birthday, Chris.
He's certainly not 40, Mark Chapman. As Luke Cowan-Dickey throws into the line out. Itoje takes it. Curry out to Mitchell. Here's Henry Slade. Marcus Smith spins out the tackle and almost goes through, does Smith. Over the 22, into the 22. Mitchell to Gench, who's broken the line, but it's gone forward. Oh, England are making dents here, but just not able to execute. Smith was in trouble, but he did well as Itoje speaks to referee O'Keefe.
I'll watch that, and if it fixed the 9, I'm definitely looking at it.
Scrum to Ireland inside their own 22, and almost the ideal start to this second half for England, who lead by 10 points to 5 at the Aviva. Matt Dawson.
Yeah, I love the way that England have come out fast and furious and wanting to maintain that pace. How long they can do it for, as you mentioned, the replacements is going to be fascinating to see, but they are not holding back. They've challenged Ireland from this kick-off to say, we're not stopping, we're not going to any kicking game, Ireland, we are going to run at you as well.
But you were talking before the game as well about Steve Borthwick, the team that he picked. It's not the big, cumbersome, powerful England team we're used to seeing. They're playing with tempo, playing with speed. And what we're seeing there, playing with skill as well. Some wonderful offloads between the forwards. Unfortunately, one of them being forward. But yeah, they look really dangerous whenever they do get over that gain line and have Ireland on the back foot.
Ireland win the scrum penalty. Pats on the back and claps from the Ireland forwards. And Prendergast will belt this out of Ireland's 22. Ireland 5, England 10. 3 minutes into the second half. We've had 20 odd minutes halfway through the first half, really, at Molineux, where Wolves lead Aston Villa by a goal to nil. Conor McNamara and Michael Brown have your commentary over on Sports Extra. We're going to join Conor and Michael after the final whistle here in Dublin. Rugby Union Weekly podcast with the immediate post-match reaction from our Grand Slam winners in commentary, Matt Dawson and Tommy Bowe. Earlier, Scotland beat Italy 31-19 as Aki sets it up just over the halfway line. As England again look to spoil it, Toje's in there. He's having one of his best games here at Toje in this stellar test career of his. As Gibson Park, that's a nothing kick, isn't it, Tommy? But Murley's in trouble there. It's going to go dead. It might go all the way dead. He doesn't want to leave it. Did he touch it? Matt Dawson says he did. He then runs out. He's in real trouble here, Murley. And he's caught on his own goal line. A kick that didn't look like it was going anywhere from Gibson Park, and the debutant Murley, who scored a try in the first half, just couldn't read the flight of the ball. Ireland drive England dead. It's going to be a 5-metre scrum to Ireland. Listen to the noise.
A dead duck of a kick. They are the worst to try and catch.
I agree with that on my side too. I saw that too.
Gibson Park almost caught the bottom of the back end of the ball. It sails, it goes side to side. Whenever you're a winger underneath one of those, it's horrible. And Murley unfortunately was guilty of that. It is a debut. He thought he was going to go out and play. I don't know, would he best to let it go straight out of play, or do you think he touched it, Matt?
A little bit of inexperience from Caden Murley. There was, the dead duck, the floater, and you just got to accept that you're not going to catch that. Either it's in your bread basket and you can get it, you go reaching for any of those types of kicks, you're in a world of bother. And you're right, Tommy, should have just let it bounce, reacted. But now, with that just fingertips from Caden Murley, enormous pressure, and it's somewhere that England just did not expect themselves to, or rather to find themselves in Coffin Corner. Hell of a place to get out.
It's the kind of tiny moment that can change a test match, isn't it?
This is in terms of an Irish rugby player, this is the area that you want to be in. This is the full range of the crowd support when you're in this corner. It just seems to reverberate. The hairs on the back of your neck, this is where you're going to do the business from their point of view.
The corner where Robbie Henshaw scored the crucial game-defining try in the Grand Slam game 2 years ago. Gibson Park prepares to feed the scrum, and referee Ben O'Keefe wants to reset.
Ellis Genge is having a rough time on the loose head. Bieleman, Kelleher are obviously working their magic that they've seen at half-time. But Genge is under enormous pressure. The previous penalty was against Genge. They've obviously targeted something. Any kind of... mind you, what is a penalty? It doesn't really make any difference. They'll probably just tap and go, but it just cements that pressure.
It's very interesting because Ireland don't have Tadhg Furlong. It's Finlay Bealham stepping in for him. It's an area I thought England would be going after Bealham, but that's very interesting to see that Bealham's got the upper hand up against Genge.
6 minutes into the second half, 5 live from the BBC. BBC Sounds, your radio online, your smart speaker. Ireland 5, England 10 as Ireland get the free kick. Tommy, are they putting the squeeze on in the scrum a bit here, Ireland?
Back here, 9.
And England have
10 metres.
An inexperienced set of replacements. Will Stewart did go off in the first half for Joe Hayes. He's back on. England's front row replacements. Theo Dan, just 17 caps. Finn Bax, the 7 caps. Joe Hayes, 8 caps. Whereas Ireland have the likes of Dan Sheehan and Cian Healy on the bench. They're incredibly experienced bench, Ireland. They tap and go from the free kick. Kelleher's up to the line. He's just short Ronan Kelleher. They're coming in waves of green here, Ireland. England giving a penalty away. Is the English dam again going to burst like in the first half after that concerted Irish pressure. It's there for Gibson Park. Hansen to the right, but he's got Prendergast to the left. Bullet pass out to Prendergast. Wide ball. What a ball! Hugo Keenan on the outside. Great tackle, Alex Mitchell and Freddie Stewart. England just about scramble, and it's gone to ground. What a bit of play. But it was a free ball. England gave the penalty away. Again a scuffle. This one has a little bit more bite to it than the usual pushing and shoving.
It's because it's the backs, I think.
The hard backs. The crowd don't like something here. Ben O'Keefe is coming over. Not sure if there was anything too serious in that. But Tommy, it's all happening here. Ellis Genges talking to the assistant ref on this near side. Ben O'Keefe is breaking up the fight. There's a penalty to Ireland. They are adamant not to go for goal, aren't they, Ireland, with these penalties?
Maratoja is sitting on Ben O'Keefe, the referee's ear at all times.
Talk to both captains.
Here we go.
Talk to both of you here. I'm going to make it very clear and simple, okay? If we have that after the whistle, that's when I'll be yellow carding players. They're going to leave the field. We're going to play rugby here, but if they do that after I blow the whistle, anyone that runs in, push, they're going to go off. Talk to your players now, going back to the penalty. We're not accepting any of that.
We spoke already in the first half here, though.
Caleb, I've already got that penalty.
Ben O'Keefe
talk about the discipline.
Laying down the law to both skippers. Caelan Doris still in his ear now. They're both having a go.
I need action from them, please.
You've got a Toje in the left there, Doris in the right. Who would be a referee? Penalty Ireland, and they'll kick for the corner or tap or scrum, Tommy. They never go for goal really with these penalties, do they?
No, they don't. That's a thing of the olden days, I think. Unfortunately, Chris, I always question, I wonder why do you not just keep the scoreboard ticking over, but I think from an Irish point of view, they know that if they can keep the pressure on this English team, Ben O'Keefe will either have to give a penalty against, a yellow card against, or else they'll get the upper hand on this line out.
Well, we're edging towards the championship minutes. Almost 50 gone in Dublin. This captivating titanic tussle between these two great rivals. A fixture that goes back 150 years to 1875. Kelleher prepares to throw from the 5-metre line, and after Prendergast prodded it into the corner. They peel around the front. Kelleher up to the line. Ronan Kelleher, as the fans behind the post get to their feet. England, have they turned that over? You're joking if they have. Right on their own goal line. And I think they may have, Tommy. England on the floor at the ruck, or is it still
messy in there?
It's seriously messy. It is on England's goal line, and I think England are trying to get it out of their dead ball area. It's going to be an Irish. It's in England's scrum, and England have done seriously well.
It was so close to the England goal line that the England forwards couldn't risk recycling the ball. It was getting very close to going into the in-goal area, and of course then Ireland can just jump over and dot it down.
And then goes unplayable on top of the players here to scrum.
And there you go. Don't need to explain what the referee's saying.
Joint tackle with Tom Curry and Ben Earl. What a tackle on Kelleher coming around the corner there. 2 metres out from the line. Absolutely knocked him sideways. And a wonderful turnover. Yeah, England, we'd be delighted with that. That's another big moment gone a begging for Ireland.
Well, so far this back row selection, yes, they've coughed up a few lineouts, but they have made so much mischief on the floor, haven't they? The likes of the Curry boys. Ben Curry, who's not got going as a test player really, with just 7, probably having his best performance in an England shirt. Tom Curry, as ever, excellent.
I tell you what, there'll be a few England replacements, inexperienced, sweating profusely as they sit on the bench, not even doing any exercise, thinking, oh my goodness me, I've got to go on to this test match in a minute.
Can you afford to think like that though? Haven't you got to think? You've got to think, get me on, haven't you?
Well,
big carry, Ollie Lawrence.
You'd be amazed.
Oh, what a tackle! What a challenge there. Ollie Lawrence up against Sam Prendergast. He's felt that one.
Wince-inducing collisions out there. We're happy to be perched over the top of the action, but it's ferocious at pitch level. Mitchell clears, and I tell you what, Tommy, in the first half Ireland went into the England 22 5 times. They average 1 point an entry. You don't win test matches with 1 point a 22 entry, and again they've got nothing from that 22 entry.
No, Ireland again, question marks in the autumn about their clinical nature. Were they able to get enough points when they were in the opposition 22? Again, we're seeing it today. Realistically, 5 points for the amount of time they've spent in the England 22 has not been good enough
Right, we're going to go to Wolves shortly, but let's see what Ireland do from this attack. They brought on some cavalry. Big tackle. Ollie Lawrence on Gary Ringrose. 13 on 13. Centre field. Dan Sheehan's on. I mentioned the cavalry. One of them is the Grand Slam winner, Sheehan. Prendergast now with a little kick through. Murley's in the backfield. He's got to get rid of this, Murley, but he slices it out of touch off the outside of his boot. Ireland line out, dangerous area. Let's go to Wolves and Mike.
Well, Wolves nearly had a second. Agbadou's header was sent over from Aston Villa's Kamara. They are building here, Wolves. They look dangerous, particularly on the counter-attacks. Villa just had a period of possession where they were starting to get control, but it looks dangerous when Wolves are going forward. We've played just over half an hour. Wolves 1, Villa 0.
Commentary over on Sports Extra, and we'll join that game in about half an hour when the rugby's finished. Ireland 5, England 10, 30 to go. Bundee Aki out the back. Sheehan, he's making an impact. Back from a long injury layoff, only played a little bit of rugby for Leinster, straight into the fray. Gibson Park, centre field, 15 out. Ireland looking for the first points of this second half. They come to the left where Porter has it. Itoje's in there as he always is, looking to slow up Ireland's ball or even steal. Finlay Beelan picks and goes round the corner. Slowish ball for Ireland. What have they got here, Tommy, in centre field?
This is where they're so dangerous. Just watch Sam Prendergast and Hugo Keenan in the backfield sweep into the left hand side. Here we go.
Here they go to the left. Prendergast, good ball. Bundee Aki for the corner. He's bundled through his man. He's into the corner. Bundee Aki. When they needed a big impact, they've got it from one of their big men. Bundee Aki levels the scores, and everyone around us on their feet at the Aviva.
Yeah, Bundee Aki just keeping his width on the left hand side. When Hugo Keenan and Sam Prendergast are standing up behind the ruck, they can go right or left. This time they went left. Hugo Keenan running on Sam Prendergast's shoulder, pulls in the England defence and whips it to the touchline to Bundee Aki, who just bounces. I think it's Freddie Stewart or Mitchell to go in the corner.
Yeah, he's gone through Marcus Smith, hasn't he, there? Referee very quick to give it.
20.
Oh, it's definitely good. What a finish, Bundee Aki. And Holly Davidson really well positioned. She gave the thumbs up. Aki or Marcus Smith, physical mismatch. 10 points all. Prendergast for the lead. No, he drags it left. Right, Matt Dawson, your view on that try?
Where did it come from? Sorry to say, Tommy, it came from pick and go, go round the corner, tire the opposition out, and all of a sudden Prendergast shoots left, as you say, and there's a 3-on-2. They finish it really well. It's simple rugby. Under this pressure is going to win for either side. They've just got to be clever.
18th test try for this warrior of Irish rugby, Bundee Aki. Ireland 10, England 10. We're all level.
Do England need to bring on the reserves now? 50 minutes gone. You can see them all walking to the halfway line. Is tiredness becoming a factor there? Because that was a soft try if you think about it from a defensive point of view. There was so much space on the outside for Bundee Aki and on the near side as well.
Well, telling that Simon Easterby's gone to his bench as Smith dribbles it through, and then Murley might be onto this. Keenan's across, he throws it inside, then knocked on by Ringrose. England will have it. And let's see what Ben O'Keefe decides.
Well, there was a few boos from the crowd there because one of the England players has shoved Keenan in the back when he was on the retreat. Therefore, he couldn't scoop the ball up, or it might have been Matt Hansen got shoved in the back.
Good, he actually had hands on the ball.
Quite rightly. Just a sloppy penalty there from England when there was just nowhere to go. Henry Slade it was on Hansen. Didn't need to give him a shove. Nice little bit of well, it wasn't theatrical, that's an absolute fair shout. You can't be doing that, Slade.
I was going to say, Tommy, that would have been England's first proper entry to the 22 all half, but it's resulted in a penalty, and Ireland just on the cusp of a bit of momentum in front of their home crowd.
Yeah, but those little kicks in behind have been really beneficial to England. They've worked turning Ireland, making them go back. It was just that push to Mac Hansen that forced that soft penalty. England will be disappointed with that. Now it's Ireland's opportunity to launch another attack around the halfway line.
Yeah, just to reiterate, Dan Sheehan on, but he is overthrown, and Genshu is on one today, but it's another penalty. England starting to leak them. Let's go back to Wolves, Mike.
Two massive chances for Wolves to double their lead. Cunyon nicked the ball off Kamara, he was through one-on-one. Martinez came off his line, saved. The rebound fell to Sarabia, who bounced the ball wide of the left-hand post. It really should be Wolves 2, Villa 0. It's still only 1.
Thanks a lot, Mike. Commentary over on Sports Extra. Just pause there because Matt Dawson and I craning on next to look at a replay. if it was a push, it was the tiniest little one. Ben O'Keefe on it.
I don't think it could touch the jumper. I think Maro Itoje did put his hands on the Irish jumper, but yeah, I mean, it's quite soft. I think Ireland are lucky to get away with that one.
It is a
could be
contact
big
sport.
one.
We are clear about that.
Well, not when someone's in the air.
It is a contact. You are allowed to touch people.
Well, Ireland might feel hard done by with the Kelleher disallowed try, which again I think was fine by the letter of the law, but very kind of, well, I suppose a very good spot by the ref.
Given how physical the game has been, yes, that's been a fairly soft push.
Prendergast for the lead. He's got it. We were saying, Tommy Bowe, Ireland never take the points. They do when it's 10-all. And we're 55 minutes on the clock in a huge Six Nations game, and Ireland lead for the first time tonight.
Absolutely, 55 minutes into the game, Ireland just got their noses in front. England have thrown everything at them. Ireland are the first to make substitutes off the bench. Simon Easterby, of course, the caretaker head coach. Interesting to see. Oh, here we go. Now it looks like England are starting to make those changes, because I think we need it. There's a lot of tired bodies out there for both sides, but England really starting to look a little bit more tired. Ireland wanting to up the tempo.
Yeah, Tom Willis on in the back row. Theo Danfaluk, Cowan Dickey, Ben Earl, Tom Willis 8 for 8. So he's keeping the Curry boys on, Matt Dawson, to keep going at Ireland's ruck. But England in 15 minutes have yet to score a point in the second half as Marcus Smith kicks off. Up goes Conan, takes it well. Ireland ball.
Yeah, England are not going to stop playing the way that they want to play, which is great. I mean, it is the way forward. There's no question about it. They just got to get the ball and not let it land in the midfield like that.
Oh, they let it bounce and Gary Ringrose is onto it. Itoje's looking to steal, but it's there for Ireland. He's still going, Itoje, but he's going to have to leave that to Gibson Park. He does. Little ball out the back is a nice one from Ryan. They're getting to the outside here, Ireland. Doris, good hands. Conan over to the far side low. He drops it on his foot. Oh, if that had stayed in, Marcus Smith could have been in trouble. He kicked it out on the full, Tommy, and England survive. They get the line out. 56 gone. Ireland 13, England 10. Yeah. But it's been mainly Ireland this half.
It has been Ireland mainly this half, but England again shooting themselves in the foot a little bit. I don't know whether it's that tiredness, but a fairly routine exit from Sam Prendergast. Put the ball up into the air. No England player trying to mark it. Ball bounces. Gary Ringrose gets up, catches the ball, and all of a sudden Ireland are back on the attack again. Lovely hands out to James Lowe on the left hand side. He puts boot to ball on the left hand side. It goes into touch, but yeah, Ireland again, they're getting to...
Is it going well for England this so far in the second half?
No.
Right, injury down. What's happening with the England team? Where are the England players?
All spread out.
Correct. All right, they're all over the place. This is what I've been talking about, Chris. This is primed for someone to stand up and say, right, guys, this isn't working, that's not working. Tom Willis, you're in. This is what we're going to get up to. What are the messages from Tom and Theo Dan from the bench? What do we need to do? Yeah, these are precious moments in key games, and they're just wandering around the field, you know, getting a drink and drifting. I know it sounds really pedantic, but it's not. It's so important.
Well, you see the Irish team, the forwards go into a huddle, the backs went into a huddle there. Yeah, big difference.
Yeah, good spot, Matt. We'll pick that up on the Rugby Union Weekly after the whistle. 56 gone. England win the line out, and they've got a penalty advantage. They'll take that all day long because they weren't driving or anything from that maul. Mitchell kicks. Doesn't matter if this goes out. Lowe takes it or he drops it, but England will get the penalty. Maybe Ben O'Keefe, back of his mind, thought that it's tit for tat because England gave away a soft one. Ireland have given away a soft one, and for the first time in this second half, well,
there's a penalty here, guys.
Marcus Smith is saying it's their lineup, but if it's a penalty, England have to go as deep as possible, don't they? Wait for the jumper. Exactly the same offence as before. Henry Slade's going to have to go deep here.
Well, we've just had probably the biggest cheer of the stadium so far, showing Andy Farrell, the new Lions head coach, on the big screen. Of course, he's here keeping a keen eye on both teams tonight. It must be difficult for him, though, being the Ireland head coach, having to step aside for this. You know, where do you show your allegiance? Of course, a proud Englishman as well.
Yeah, well, he would say it's all about the Lions, so looking for an independent prism at who is having a big game when the stakes are as high as this. Bundy Aki is off, but what a replacement. The Test Lion, Robbie Henshaw, talking of the Lions. There's Itoje, who's been on 2 tours. Marcus Smith, good carry after Tom Curry threw a pass a little bit low, It might be that Ireland have just held them up here, England. No, Mitchell's digging for it. 3 points in it. Oh, Theo Dan juggled with it but eventually caught it. Okay, 25 metres out, England, centre field. They come to the left, and Ellis Genge. Have they got any pattern or shape here with a bit of field position as we tick towards the hour mark in Dublin? 13-10 the score, 3 points in it. Mitchell digs for the ball. Tom Willis is the decoy as Theo Dan carries and Willis does the clearing. Will Marcus Smith think drop goal? No, he's going crossfield with a kick, but it's only a Toje out there. Now Tommy Freeman's joined him. Freeman gets it back, and it might be, though, with Ireland. It is. Good work from the Irish on the floor. And Gibson Park has it back. And just wonder there, Matt Dawson, what England's plan was if it wasn't going to the boot. As England look to stop Ireland inside their 22. Scrum, though, to Ireland with the ball unplayable.
Well, it's very scrappy, it's very individual. It's the tiny little margins. Theo Dan there, taking the ball up, and you mentioned his name, and he makes a couple of yards, but he was slightly isolated, so he then has to really fight to manipulate his body to get the ball back, which actually slows everything down, rather than just going through the pattern to then for England to build momentum. The tiny little margins are going to make a huge difference, and the impact players, the bench, have got a massive part to play.
Right, it's going to be a scrum, and again the forwards are getting some running repairs. Let's go back to Wolves and Mike.
And again, Wolves maybe could have had a second dangerous Sarabia free kick from the right hand side, headed over the bar by Aston Villa's Boubacar Kamara. He's the weak link. I think I'd be targeting him if I was Wolves. He's given away a one-on-one. He's then flicked that one over the bar. He could expose them at the back, but it's Wolves 1, Villa 0.
Thanks a lot, Mike. Over on Sports Extra for commentary with Conor McNamara and Michael Brown. Big call here from Simon Easterby, Tommy Bowe. Off goes the boy wonder Sam Prendergast. On comes Jack Crowley on 58 minutes.
Yeah, Jack Crowley, who last season, last Six Nations, was the boy wonder, the young out half to replace Johnny Sexton. Of course, they won the Six Nations last year with him, but Sam Prendergast is the new man at the helm with that 10 jersey. But Jack Crowley has 20 minutes to try and get himself back into that 10 jersey and show the form that he's shown for Munster so far this season. He's been playing really well. A big opportunity for him now, because Ireland need to try and turn the screw on this English side.
Well, they've got a youngster on at tight head. Thomas Clarkson is on for Finlay Bealham, who has limped off. The scrum is solid from both sides. Back to Crowley, who kicks under pressure from Smith. Slightly squirts. Oh, it's a huge kick, actually. Stewart does well to pluck it out of the air, because it wasn't a million miles over 50-22. Stewart is running it back with real vigour, and he smashes into James Lowe, who's trying to hold him up. Stewart's got to get this to ground. Good defensive work from James Lowe, but it's there for England. Do they have any kind of pattern with the ball in hand, England? Genge just puts his head down, so you imagine they'll go for the boot, but they need chasers here. So Mitchell just short of the halfway line. 13 points to 10 if you're just joining us on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Mitchell's kick, perhaps a little bit too long to be contested, taken by Crowley, and he gets it on to Lowe, who kicks down the line. Is that out on the full? It is. So a second mistake with the boot from James Lowe.
Yeah, good overall territory battle. More replacements. Will Stewart's coming on for the third time. He's got 3 caps today with Ollie Chesham and Chandler Cunningham South. Big shifts from these England players, but all week this has been spoken about in the England camp. There is going to be a moment, it's going to be 20 minutes to go, 15 minutes to go, where you are going to get on, players. What can you do? What can you bring?
Well, they go to the front, and Cunningham South took it and then went to give it back to Dan, but kept hold of it and almost goes up to the 22. Therefore, England, and Ellis Genge, who's carried plenty of ball today, the England loose head. That's his 10th carry. There's Tom Curry, but he's lost it. England profligate there, and Mac Hansen will put boot to ball. Back goes Stewart, who's got a hair back into his own 22. It sits up nicely for him. He's just got to lamp it to touch. He does, but doesn't get a load of ground. Ireland with a huge territory gain, Tommy Bowe.
Yeah, big turnover for Ireland there, getting themselves out of trouble. England bringing on the replacements. Really interesting to see how the likes of Cunningham South, Chesham, these guys, big ball carriers, and they need that at the minute. England, you think of the opening 10-20 minutes of that first half, they were playing with such tempo, really putting this Irish defence under pressure. We haven't seen that so far in the opening 20 minutes of the second half. Can they bring the difference? Because so far neither team, Ireland again, a lot of hands on hips again. The game slowed down again. I think, is that one of the Curry brothers running back? It's been a huge attritional game so far, isn't it? A lot of injured bodies out there.
Ireland have it, 10-metre line inside England's half. Then it's been knocked on by Doris, so even the best players on the pitch, Curry and Doris, making relatively unforced errors, and England will have the scrum 10-metre line inside their own half.
Yeah, there are lots of, it's too easy from up here, isn't it? But there are a lot of signals around this game. These guys are better than any other sides that have played over the decades because they're fitter and stronger, the rest of it. But under fatigue, it doesn't matter where you're playing 50 years ago, your brain goes into the mush and you make poor decisions. And even both sides just need to go through their reps and their sets. And it might mean that they run at 90% rather than 100%, but they get into their rhythm, they get into their pattern, and they start to manipulate the opposition. I would lay good money on that if either side go through from set piece, if they can go through more than 5 phases, they'll score.
And sometimes go through the basics as well. That was Robbie Henshaw, who's just come off the bench, trying to pull a rabbit out of a hat, looked like he was giving it to the guy out the back and just threw it directly at Doris's chest. He's only half a metre away. We don't have to try and pull off the miraculous pass every time. Sometimes just giving the simple pass, doing the simple play at this level when people are so tired and it's so tight, it's the right option.
Free kick Ireland. Ireland gave it away, so it's a free kick to England after Ireland infringed at the scrum. Smith with a towering up and under high into the pitch black Dublin air. Mitchell with good hands to just about get it away to Smith, who throws a dummy. And he's caught by a few there, including Van der Fleer on the sponsors logo just inside the English half, but did well Marcus Smith to retain the ball. 13-10, Ireland lead. England yet to score a point in this second half. The final quarters of matches, their Achilles heel the last 6 to 12 months or so. Can they get over the line in another tight test match? Mitchell's kick looks to be pretty nicely weighted. Crowley against Cunningham South, but he mistimed that Cunningham South. You could see from up here, and Gibson Park waiting to go quickly, but there's some pushing and shoving, and he either's got to go for the ball, Cunningham South, or time it, and he did neither.
Both your players.
And it's a penalty against Cunningham South for taking Keenan in the air.
And he did take him in the air, but that is a split of a split second. The correct call, don't get me wrong, but you don't need to lose your mind about it. Don't react to it. Don't risk it.
To be fair, Ben O'Keefe, referee, hasn't overreacted as well. Yeah, I mean, you're talking split second, couple of inches just off the grass, but that could have been a yellow card the way they reacted to that after.
Yeah, and as Matt says, Tommy, Ireland got to be careful not to have the penalty reversed, because Ben O'Keefe has said a lot this half to the captains. You've got to keep a lid on it with the afters. 17 minutes to go. Ireland have the narrowest of leads by 3.
Yeah, shortened line out. Midfield is stacked. It's going in one place here, straight off the training park.
Dan Sheehan to the front. Jack Conan pass into midfield from Gibson Park, right on the sponsor's sign, bang on halfway. Now they go into the English half. Gibson Park has options both sides, just flirts with the left hand side, and James Lowe slices through, and he's got a man there, and he gives it to him, and it's Tyburn, and that might be the test match for Ireland. Ruthless rugby from Ireland, a training ground move. James Lowe, Tyburn, Ireland 8 clear with the kick to come.
Super try, super clinical, as Matt just mentioned, straight off the training paddock. Set up in midfield through Robbie Henshaw. Gibson Park comes back the short side. James Lowe standing directly behind the ruck. 3 options. Pops it to James Lowe. Closest option, he goes straight through, and on his left hand side there's Tyburn.
Yeah, shoddy defence from England. I know it was done very accurately, but if you want to break that down, Chandler Cunningham South just getting drifted out as an impact player going on. You've got to be tight, you've got to make a contact, you've got to smash them back. And he, as Tommy's just said there, he's gone through untouched, not even a scrag. Really poor defence.
Gibson Park does well to drag Ellis Genge in and just creates that space. It was a Cunningham South who just went on the drift, didn't even see James Lowe, and he's straight through the gap. Tried to put the step on at 15, And there's Tyg Byrne, brilliant support on the left-hand side. That's a crucial try to put Ireland 10 points ahead.
Well, the lead is healthy, isn't it? Ireland 20, England 10. Perfect time to go to Wolves. Half time for Mike Maine.
And it's Wolves 1, Villa 0. Should be 2, 3, maybe even 4 to the home side as well. Bellegarde's lashed it in after 10 minutes on the right of the box, but they've had 2 one-on-ones, one saved, one wide, and Guedes has had a hat-trick of opportunities himself. Villa without a shot on target, and their front man Ollie Watkins grimacing with a groin issue. Remember, no John Duran anymore. Wolves 1, Villa 0.
Cheers, Mike. Commentary over on Sports Extra. England have to score next, don't they? Marcus Smith on his own 22 from Crowley's kick. He just belts it a little bit limply downfield. Lowe picks. There's loads of energy about this Irish performance now. It's coming from the crowd as Lowe looks to box England back. Murley's there, skipping along. Finn Smith is on. I imagine him and Marcus Smith playing 10 and 15. Good kick, Finn Smith. But it might not be enough, just clearing up to halfway when Ireland have a 10-point lead and a little bit of momentum, maybe more than a little bit of momentum, Tommy.
Yeah, 15 minutes to go for Ireland, 10 points in the lead. They need to just do nothing too serious, to pull nothing out of a hat, as I said earlier on, and just keep England in their own half. England, though, they need to score to get themselves back into this game. They brought in all the replacements, huge big bench. They just can't seem to get the ball in hand at the moment.
Sheehan to throw. Bang on halfway, right below us here in our vantage point. Nice take, Ollie Chessum from the line-up, but it's a free kick as England close the gap.
Unfortunately, England are playing like there's 4 minutes to go rather than 14 minutes to go. There's an air of desperation around England, and again, it just doesn't need it. Yeah, all right, you're away from home, you're 10 points down. What's the next idea is to score. Therefore, you need territory. Therefore, you need to keep the ball.
Well, from the free kick, Ireland have belted it in the air. Freeman came forward but didn't claim it. Theo Dans, he's going to get caught behind the gain line here. He's only 10 or 15 minutes from his own line now, Theo Dan. England will have it, but they are in the wrong end of the pitch, and the scoreline is in Ireland's favour to the tune of 10 points. Cleared by Harry Randall, but it's going to give Ireland a set piece and a chance to stay in the English half. And just looking at that penalty count, 11-6. England have leaked 11, and there's still 13 minutes to go.
And a lot of those penalties, I think, have come in the second half. They haven't come out of the sheds the way they would have hoped to. Ireland, on the other hand, being able to bring on Jack Crowley, I think he's just being able to steady the ship a little bit for the guys in green.
Van der Fleer from the back of the maul, Gibson Park. There's a real sort of spring in the Irish step, and that's a lovely move with Hansen linking with Keenan, who dribbles it behind Marcus Smith. Murley's back there. Oh, this is dangerous for Murley. He's going to have to dot it down for a goal line, or is he going to get held up and taken out? Oh, they're trying to drag him back in field. They've got a line out. That's unbelievable from Ireland. And this whole second half, let's be honest, Ireland have been overwhelmingly superior. They've got a line out and they can properly kill this game off now.
I mean, why did Murley not just jump on the ball, put it down? Would have been taking it back.
Goal line, yeah, I mean, they try and avoid goal line dropouts, don't they?
Wonderful defence, really clever by Hugo Keenan and James Lowe, picking him up and dragging him back, what looks back into the field of play, and put him over the line. So it's a 5-metre line out for Ireland. Very, very clever from Ireland. Great little chip through by Hugo Keenan as well.
Ireland lead by 10. They have a 5-metre line out, and they're rolling towards the English line. They peel away. Is that Ian Henderson up to the line? He can't be far out now. They drive once more through Robbie Henshaw. 10 points to the good. They can win it here with just over 10 minutes to go. Set up by the Irish forwards. Gibson Park has got the likes of Conan and Henderson. Here goes Jack Conan, the British Lion, up to the line, underneath the crossbar. Ireland through the phases. Jack Crowley throws a dummy, steps inside a few England players. England despairingly looking to steal, and they've got the penalty. Oh, what a steal.
Fairley goes on the ball.
It might have been Tom Curry again. He's had a superhuman performance, Tom Curry. A lot of time in defence as Ireland have bossed this second half, but England get the penalty and a chance to get out of their own 22.
Just not had the ball, unfortunately, for England. So dominant in that first half at times, and yet in the second half, I can't quite put my finger on why they just haven't been able to recreate. Maybe it is that fatigue we saw in the last 5 minutes of that first half. They did look to be a tired side, but they've just been beaten in every area in this second half. But the scraps on the floor, the thinking, the drills, the set piece.
Well, there's still time for England, but they're going to have to do what they haven't done yet in the second half and score some points. It was 10-5 England at half-time, but Ireland have scored 15 unanswered, and Harry Randall's box kick has gone backwards to jeers from the Aviva Stadium, and Ireland get the loose ball, winning the 50-50s as they've done all second half. Ireland. Gibson Park digs for it. He comes to the left. Crowley, who's having a good game on as a replacement. Robbie Henshaw sets it up. Centre field. 40 out for Ireland. Crowley with a dink, trying to put pressure on Marcus Smith, who's in the backfield. Up goes Smith. Doesn't get there, or does he? Oh, good take, Marcus Smith. Calls the mark, and he will just kick it as far downfield as he can. And he takes play up to the halfway, maybe just into the Irish half. Good stuff, Marcus Smith, but Matt Dawson, it's Ireland 20, England 10, and Ireland are 9 minutes away from getting their title defence up and running with a win.
Yeah, they are, but again, more replacements coming on for England. Both props being changed and put in a fair shift, particularly Ellis Genge there to be last in 70 minutes. Fair dues. Will Stewart's been on and off like all sorts. I think he's probably barely played 40 minutes today, but he's been on 3 times. England just need to somehow get the ball under control. Again, Ireland have possession.
Crowley from his own 10-metre line lamps it into the sky, puts it on Marcus Smith. They're going to do that, aren't they, if Marcus Smith is in the backfield. And England do resource the ball, but not cleanly. And England have a posse of forwards to Harry Randall's right, but you can't really see how they're going to come from 80 metres. Nice little tip from Curry. Theo Dan working really hard to bust the gain line. Randall comes to the left. Here is Tom Curry, who has worked like a Trojan all day. He edges up to the 10-metre line as Mac Hansen's in there looking to spoil. Here's Captain Itoje. Had Ollie Chesham on the inside. He's upended, though, by Gibson Park. Is Itoje. And Harry Randall has very slow ball here.
Look at the shape. Look at the England shirts. Harry Randall has no other option other than to kick the ball, and of course Ireland then know that, put 3 back in the backfield. Easy pickings.
And Keenan takes it, Murley tackles, but it was an easy one for Keenan. 8.5 minutes to go. Ireland 20, England 10. We'll be at Molineux at full time for commentary from the Premier League as Conan goes through, and Ireland are slicing England apart time and time again in the second half. A clean break through Conan. Have they got numbers to the left, Ireland? Out the back it comes. Henshaw, nice ball. Dan Sheehan, good skills from the hooker. To Lowe on the outside. He's away, James Lowe. He's looking for the corner. He goes inside. Dan Sheehan scores. Dan Sheehan wins it for Ireland. A vintage second half Irish performance, and England are well beaten in Dublin now.
What a finish by Dan Sheehan, a guy who's just come back from an ACL injury. I think he was out for only 5.5 months. Absolutely miraculous. He's a world-class athlete. He was in charge of the tip on to Jack Conan to put him right through the gap, and then Dan Sheehan breaks out to the left-hand side. 3-on-2. The hooker gives the skip pass out to James Lowe on the left-hand side. James Lowe breaks through the tackle and back inside. Dan Sheehan take a bow. Wonderful play. Excellent play by Ireland, really, to be able to open it up like that, thinking they're just playing the percentages, putting the ball into the English half, putting it on top of Marcus Smith. All of a sudden Jack Conan goes through that gap and they're able to just capitalise.
Well, listen, if the Lions are going to win down in Australia this summer, it's not going to be from 15 players. There's going to be a squad, there's going to be a bench, and you saw 2 incredible impact players there in Jack Conan and Sheehan there, making a huge difference. And I'm not going to say that's the difference in the 2 sides, but it's a significant difference that needs to be mentioned. The bench from Ireland have been absolutely world class.
Yeah, same old problems for England in these second halves, but Ireland have been terrific, haven't they, after the break? And they lead by 27 points to 10 as Murley loses it. It goes backwards. He gets it to Finn Smith, and Finn Smith sends a nice ball out to Slade, who's got some space down this left touchline, but Gibson Park, what a tackle from Gibson Park around the ankles of Henry Slade. Conan's in there. He's been unbelievable, hasn't he, Jack Conan off the bench. Finn Smith juggles with it. He might be able to get away here, Finn Smith, but no, there are Irish shirts everywhere, even though he makes a few metres. Harry Randall's caught by Hansen. Tom Willis on the 10-metre line, just inside the 10-metre line. What have Ireland done? They've scored 22 uninterrupted points as Lawrence tries to make something happen as the fields of Athenry triumphantly rings around the stadium as England lose it, and they might get on the outside through Henderson. No, not quite. And it will be an England liner on the far side with 5.5 minutes to go. Tommy Bowe, this one's done for, isn't it?
Ireland trying to put on an exhibition there. Lovely out the back pass by Jack Crowley. Tried to put Gary Ringrose away. England just look like they're out on their feet. They don't look like they can. Anytime they get the ball in hand, they're making small errors. There's nobody on their shoulder. Where Ireland just look to be able to capitalise on it. It's clear momentum. When the momentum's going against you, it makes it so difficult. And from Ireland's point of view, look at Simon Easterby. Look how much that try means to him. Huge weight of pressure off him, the new head coach.
And it's a bonus point as well for Ireland. Try. I mean, you'd take any win, wouldn't you? But a 4-try win.
Listen, before this game, you were talking. Everybody is talking about, can Ireland back up the Six Nations? The last 2 Six Nations, can they go and win 3 in a row? The first team ever to do it. I felt England were going to come here and cause them it was going to be a really stiff test, and there was in the first half, but since it came out in the second half, we just haven't seen anything from England.
Well, England did get some movement at that scrum, but referee O'Keefe gave a reset, and Jamison Gibson Park is being pictured. He's had a good game, hasn't he, Gibson Park? Lions scrum half at this rate.
I think it'd probably be between him and Alex Mitchell at the moment. I thought Ben White actually played pretty well today for Scotland as well. It's going to be a competitive area, but let's face it, come the end of the tournament, if Ireland are winning the championship, it's going to be Gibson Park all day long.
He's so important to this Irish team as well.
England on the halfway line, they try to work a pattern. It does eventually get out to Marcus Smith, but he's enveloped by 3-4 green shirts. It's on the halfway line. Randall scooting to the right, but he's caught. He does make a few metres. Tyke Burns all over him. Ollie Chesham picks and goes. That's better from the big replacement Chesham. Randall to the left. They might have numbers here. Finn Smith, Marcus Smith, Tommy Freeman's off his wing, but it's a tad ponderous from England, have yet to score a point in this second half. Mitchell, Lawrence gets away, finds Murley back inside to Curry, and England will get something. They do get a try in this second half. It's surely too little too late. Their body language suggests so as well. That Tom Curry caps an heroic performance with a score, and I think that must be his parents in the crowd who have watched their twin boys play together for England. Tom Curry's try, Ireland 27, England 15, but only 3.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, lovely little interplay from England, and that's where England are dangerous. They've gone through some phases, they've stretched the defence. Ollie Chesham going right through the guts there and squeezing the Ireland defensive line, and all of a sudden there becomes a few gaps. Not many, a few gaps. Marcus Smith unfortunately just yanks it left. It's 12 points, there are 3.5 minutes to go, so maybe a try from the kick-off from England, and potentially you get twitchy, but that if Ireland, they're walking back to the halfway line. It's done in the next 30 seconds.
Ollie Lawrence, the English centre, up against Cian Healy, the veteran Irish prop. That's exactly what you want to do. He puts a bit of feet on Cian Healy. Unfortunately, he falls over. Lovely offload to the outside to Murley, and nice try by England, but we just haven't seen enough of that in the second half.
Crowley to kick off, under 3 to go. 5 Live and BBC Sounds will be at Molineux shortly for the bulk of the second half between Wolves and Aston Villa. It's still half-time, Wolves leading by a 1-0, as Mike Minay's been telling us, but Conor McNamara and Michael Brown, your commentary team, will be there in the next few minutes as Randall kicks. You've got your arms outstretched, Matt Dawson.
Well, someone just quickly, we'll go to the football, but let's just reflect on, with 2.5 minutes to go, why at an exit you would kick to touch when you need the ball to score. Let me just dwell on that for the next minute.
Wolves Villa, Mike.
Where Aston Villa, we yet to kick off, and made 4 changes at half-time to try and get back in this game. Wolves have had the bigger, better chances. Villa yet to register a shot on target. So on come Matson, Bailey, Onana and Malin, as Luca Dean, Ollie Watkins, Jacob Ramsey and debutant Garcia all come off. Wolves 1, Villa 0. We're just underway in the second half.
Ireland might be in again. Conor Murray, they shut down England's attack with ease. They've got numbers to the left. Captain Doris into the 22 goes The Ireland number 8, Conor Murray's on. He finds his forwards coming in waves. Their bench been great, hasn't it, Ireland? Crowley's been good. And lovely ball from Ringrose out to Lowe. He's got Conan hugging the touchline. Big Jack Conan up against Murley. That's good from Murley, who's had a tough debut at times. Not a load of arms in that tackle, but he did stop Conan in his tracks. And England have the line out, but it's 5 minutes from their own line, and we're heading towards the final minute.
Super tackle by Murley against Conan, a difficult guy to stop, particularly when he's hugging that touchline. But yes, I do think your question, with 2.5 minutes to go, to try and just box kick the ball into touch again, England have to, where's the creativity here? With 1.5 minutes to go, they're not going to maybe win the match, but at least finish with a flourish.
Well, there's nothing here for Randall, Matt, is there? Marcus Smith's on his goal line. The forwards have their hands on their haunches, and Randall's boxing because they're going to try and get a tap back, but it's an easy one for Mac Hansen. He's levelled by Cunningham South. He got his timing right this time. Into the final minute. Ireland 27, England 15. Crowley, Gary Ringrose puts his head down. 40 odd metres out, Ireland in centre field. They're looking for a 5th try and to really put the flourish on the performance, which in the second half has been completely dominant. Conor Murray, all 121 caps, the Munsterman. Munster teammate Crowley. Here is Cian Healy, the replacement. Up to the 22 he goes. There for Ireland again, and their big forward replacements come in waves on the carry. Murray just flirting with the blind side. Crowley, nice ball. James Lowe's almost got away. So difficult to stop is Lowe. Conor Murray, he knocks it on, and England have it through Tom Willis, who's on for his 2nd cap, the Saracens number 8. Now England might be able to stretch it. They are in their own 22. Marcus Smith will go with a little crossfield looking for Murley. Will this sit up for Caden Murley? Yes, it will. Murley's got it. He's over the halfway line. He needs to somehow get this back with Hansen all over him. Shoots out, but Hansen's given the penalty away.
The ruck, you fix the ball.
England have to go quickly. There's no time, is there? The clock is dead.
Go past and he fixed the ball.
England might be able to force themselves a losing bonus point as Marcus Smith will kick it into the 22. But the time is up, Matt Dawson. Ireland 27, England 15, and England just playing for that solitary point. The defeat is assured.
Yeah, they're going to try and dig in. Very, very difficult. You can see the body language from England, and quite rightly, they've given absolutely everything today. There's no question about that, but they've been undone in this second half by a stellar Ireland performance all round. 23 players have found their mojo in a green shirt.
Dan to throw, 22. Final play of this test match. Ireland 27, England 15. Ireland's defence of their Six Nations crown is ending with a resounding victory. The ball has been lost, but referee O'Keefe says it went backwards, so Finn Smith charges into the 22 and Chandler Cunningham South puts his head down. Harry Randall to the right, Theo down an arc, gets it away to Tommy Freeman, who's under the post. Freeman scores, and England gets something at the end. Not enough.
That was backwards over there.
But Tommy Freeman's under the post, and England have finally scored in the second half with 2 quick tries, but too little too late, even though they may look, Matt Dawson, for whether there was a knock on earlier in the move.
I think they will be looking. There was a couple of occasions where maybe in the previous ruck there were 2 knock-ons. Someone will look at it somewhere, but listen, it's not nice finish, but the focus has to be on Ireland in that second half. England did well in the first half, but just not enough in the tank.
Marcus Smith adds the 2, but Ireland win here by 27 points to 22, and Ireland brought the noise after half-time. They've got the try bonus point. They start this defence of their crown and this mission for an unprecedented 3-peat with a big win against England. Ireland 27, England 22. Tommy Bowe.
An absolutely amazing performance by Ireland, particularly in that second half. Huge question marks coming into this Six Nations Championship. Can they do the three-peat? Nobody has ever done it before. England at home, it doesn't get much tougher, but boy, they pulled out all the stops in that second half. It just looks so electric at times. England just didn't know there were 6s and 7s. I'd say the one disappointment from an Irish point of view is conceding those 2 tries towards the end of the game. But yes, they roll on to Scotland next weekend in Murrayfield, full of confidence.
Yeah, that was a hard-fought contest, very physical, very fast. That was top level rugby at times today, and I think Ireland showed with their experience how to utilise that energy under pressure in the right areas, whereas England maybe expanded their energy.
Punched themselves out,
expended their energy in the end of that first half and never really recovered, Chris, to be honest. I'm going to be positive because I think there were steps forward for England. That was a really solid performance from Ireland in the second half. There's no reason why England can't go on and progress throughout the tournament and get better and better, but it was a bit of a reality check for where they stand in the Northern Hemisphere.
Loads more on the Rugby Union Weekly podcast. We've got to go to Wolves. We're going to have a quick chat with Chris Sutton as well. But final word to you, Tommy Bowe. Ireland up and running.
Perfect start to the Six Nations. Yes, England at home doesn't come much bigger than that, but a convincing win for Ireland. Round one done.
Thanks a lot, Tommy Bowe. Matt Dawson, more from them on the Rugby Union Weekly podcast. We're going to go to Wolves Villa very shortly, but Chris Sutton, 6:06 after the game at Molineux. Who are you expecting calls from, Chris, after, what a day of Premier League?
Yeah, a brilliant day of Premier League football, well, across all the leagues. 08085 909 693 to book your call. Is there any stopping Liverpool? Big result for them down at Bournemouth today. My Nottingham Forest, does Champions League football beckon for Forest next season? Saw today Marcus Rashford. Looks like he's on his way to Aston Villa. Aston Villa fans, which version of Marcus Rashford do you think you're going to see? And Ipswich fans, today was the day when did you lose belief, losing to bottom team Southampton. Leeds hit 7 against Cardiff, and Birmingham City look like they're on the way back up to the Championship. So 08085 909 693, Chris.
That's the number to dial. Nice one, Chris. 6:06 follows Wolves against Aston Villa. They're about 8 minutes into the second half, so let's go and join Michael Brown and Conor McNamara. Conor.